following is a UTV 44 sports production. Friday Night Rivals. This is the Green & Phillips UTV 44 Game of the Week, presented by the Mobile and Baldwin County Sheriff's Offices and the Drug Education Council.
Daphne Trojans coming off a tough loss here on UTV 44 last week when they fell to Saraland. Open up the home portion of their schedule tonight when they take on the Blount Leopards, who beat Williamson to open the season last week in a big early season 6A Region 1 matchup tonight here from Jubilee Stadium in Daphne. Good evening. I'm Jim Cox. My partner for tonight's broadcast is Dan Brennan. And Dan, we're so early in the season, so young here. But for the Daphne Trojans, is it too soon to say this is a must-win game?
Well, 6A Region 1 is really top-heavy. We talked about that, and we mean heavy at the top, right? When you consider Spanish Fort, Saraland, Blount, and Daphne, maybe, you know, you just consider them preseason. There's your top four. If they drop this one, they will have gone 0-2 against those other three of the top four. You don't want to start that way, right? Yeah,
this is a Blount team that I think a lot of people, whispers from other coaches and people in the know, really high on the 2015 Leopards.
I think, number one, they're high on Lev Holly, the coach. Came down from Jackson.
We are.
Yeah, we like him a lot.
And this guy.
Kadarius Toney, this is a talented quarterback right here, and he's got to get the attention of a lot of people as the year goes along. You can see his stats. A week ago, Williamson really did not provide much resistance at all. This Blount team is talented. They're deep. They're fast. They hit. And if they don't hurt themselves, very dangerous.
Yeah, I think no matter the level of football you're at, you got to get after the quarterback. They've got to get some pressure on Toney. And we saw last week in the game against Saraland, they got some guys, especially on the edge, that can do that.
Well, Jack West is the guy that everybody was talking about coming into the game, but look what D'Angelo Young did. He got after the young quarterback and made his life miserable in the first half. Young is not huge. He's quick, he's strong, and he's really a problem off the edge. Blount's seen the tape. They're probably going to use the second guy to chip him a little bit, too. They're not going to let that guy dominate the game like he did last week. They're aware of him. We'll see how they adjust to make sure that he doesn't dominate this one.
Yeah, and both coaches said it's going to be physical for 48 minutes. There's a chance it could be more.
Yeah, last year, double overtime between these two teams, so we don't know what we're in for tonight, except we're pretty sure it is going to be the game of the week.
It is Daphne and Blount here on UTV 44. The Green & Phillips Injury Lawyers Game of the Week kickoff comes up after this. Sun about to set on a Friday afternoon in time for high school football on a Friday night here on UTV 44. Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, ready to get this one started. The Blount Leopards will kick off. Daphne Trojans with Brandolyn Purdue back deep along with Tyrick Richardson, Edwin Alvarado Amaya with the kick. Batiste will take it at the 20. Leardis Batiste out to the 31, make it the 32-yard line, and that's where Daphne will start. Let's get our first orthopedic group sideline report from Ashley Pope.
The history of these two teams were that last year they went in double overtime during regular play. But tonight for Daphne, all that matters is that they need to win to avoid an 0-2 in Region 6A. Tonight, we'll see very quickly if they've been able to bounce back from last week's loss.
John Quinley leads his Daphne offense. Out there, Rashad McCullum in the backfield. With them, Johnson and Purdue. And they give it to McCullum, and McCullum gets stood up at the 31-yard line. Nowhere to go is Donadio Madison in there to make the stop for the Blount Leopards.
He's got those short, choppy steps, and he can move people out of the way, but that time, Blount's got the answer.
Just a junior, 6'1", 220. No gain on the play. Quinley, a big week last week, 267 yards through the air.
He looked good.
Really did. Looks, now wants to set up a screen, and that one incomplete. Went behind his intended receiver. He was trying to get Miles Henderson, and now 3rd and 10 immediately for Daphne.
Yeah, Blount's not playing defense when you're just messing around trying that thing in pregame, right? But you've got an athletic, quick, strong team defensively, and sometimes they disrupt exactly what you're trying to do.
He was 17 of 30 for 267 yards in the touchdown last week. Now it's 3rd and 10. Quinley steps up in the pocket, has some room, trying to get to the near sideline, and Madison will push him out of bounds well short of the first down, and it'll bring up a punt situation for Daphne with a quick 3-and-out to start this one offensively.
Glenn Vickery not head over heels with the progress made this week by his team. He told us that he didn't think they practiced particularly well.
Which is something he's always liked, how his teams practices.
Yeah, and just a great coach. He's had such a great career and has won a state championship. But a little concerned he didn't think that they were bouncing back as quickly as they should have from last week's tough loss.
Get a whistle here prior to the kick. Looks like a
timeout. Blount.
Leopards take a timeout here. And I want to let you know, Green and Phillips Injury Lawyers, UTV 44 Game of the Week. Accident victims, call 911, get a police report, and seek medical attention. Victims get on average 3.5 times more compensation with an attorney. The attorneys at Green and Phillips Injury Lawyers are local. They live here, right in our community. No appointment needed, and never pay for parking at their offices right there on Florida Street.
Not sure what Blount saw there, Jim, if they... unusual timeout. Burning a timeout like that, Lev Holly may have seen something.
San Antonio right back to receive. Barella will kick from his own 20. Now Wright is someone who can make something happen here on special teams on 4th and 6.
He's a confident athlete.
Left-footed kicker, good spiral. And Wright gets away from it and takes a huge Daphne bounce, and it'll be down at the 16-yard line. And we'll see the Blount offense for the first time here. Well, good change of field position there with a big kick from Varela. And Blount will be led. Boy, Trent Ellis, get a look at him there. Starting at safety, moved up, started at linebacker last week and had a great game for him. 13 tackles, leaders on defense.
We had ourselves a game last week, did we not? I've got more compliments on the game. People are just saying how much they enjoyed the quality of those two teams last week.
Kadarius Toney, just a junior. Fakes, steps up, pressure from the backside, able to get away. Now wants to launch it down the far side. Does he underthrow it? No, he's able to get that one off and complete on the far side at the 30, down inside the 20, still on his feet to the 15-yard line. Daryl Williams.
Be a first down for the Leopards.
Now we're gonna have to check that. Maybe Terrence Massey. There's 2 threes on the Blount roster. We're gonna say it was Massey, the starting DB, but what a throw by Toney.
Yeah, really good throw. But Massey got, if it is Massey, he got some separation deep, even though it was underthrown a bit. That wind is blowing from the south, and that's why it was 92 degrees earlier today.
70 yards. Give around the near side, inside the 5, down near the goal line. Touchdown, Blount Leopards on 2 plays.
Yep, 2 plays. Now, Daphne was, their sideline was yelling about a block in the back. You'll probably see it again, and I don't think it was a block in the back, but it was a key block on the edge. Gets him free for the long touchdown run.
Joshua Brown wasn't even on the depth chart to start the week. Comes in, takes the handoff, and goes in for the touchdown. 2 plays, 84 yards, and Blount with a quick start to this one.
Looks like a determined team to me.
Amaya will come on and try the PAT. And the Blount Leopards, a minute and a half into this game, lead by a score of 7-0 at Daphne. Brown takes it in from 15, and the Leopards have the lead. Amaya with a kick. Brandolyn Purdue takes it at the 15, and Purdue trying to spin away from some Leopards and out to the 27, and that's it.
Yeah, the human joystick. You got to surround him with a bunch of guys to bring him down. Watch here. Here's the first big play. Toney goes long to the mystery man.
Massey.
Okay. We decided it's Massey, and look at him make a nice move. And then right here, a guy that wasn't on the depth chart a couple of weeks ago. There's your block, and in the back, on the side, what do you think? But the referee said no, it's clean. Touchdown, Blount.
Daphne's side was hollering for it, and now the Trojans must respond. They went 3-0, a 3-and-out to start things. Give up the middle. McCullum to the 34-yard line.
A lot of window dressing with this Daphne offense, Jim. A lot of misdirection. They just keep you on your toes. This team plays their keys. They're physically gifted enough to hang in.
Yeah, this Blount defense last week gave up -5 yards rushing to Williamson, 72 yards passing, a net of 67 on the night. Quinley on 2nd and 4, steps up with some time over the middle, incomplete. He was looking for Miles Henderson, and that one incomplete.
And why did he throw it over the head of the receiver, Jim?
Pressure coming from the backside.
Yeah, and even to his chest, too. So we're seeing Blount do a nice job of winning up at the line of scrimmage, not giving Quinley the time. We saw last week what he can do when he's got some time. He was good.
3rd and 4 from the 33. Brandon Purdue, who had 189 yards last week, and now looks like Daphne may have got Blount to jump.
Have a dead ball. I'm sorry. Have a dead ball. Encroachment on the defense. 3rd down.
Might have been Cedric Allen.
Yeah, I think he came up to kind of give a blitz look. Got a little too far.
Gives Daphne the easy 1st down.
Yeah.
Trojans needed that. Up to the 38-yard line. Batiste in the backfield. They'll give it to him. Try to get to the outside. Gets around Allen with a stiff arm and up the near sidelines, and then gets pushed out of bounds. Daphne's bench wanted a horse collar. They're not going to get it on that one. Didn't pull him down. He may have got in there, but another 1st down for the Trojans up near midfield.
Yeah, Allen's in pretty good shape right here, right, Jim? Does not make the tackle, goes high. Batiste, too strong, too quick. And there you go.
Batiste had just 7 yards rushing last week on 4 carries. Best that effort already to start this one. Purdue goes in motion. They'll give it to
Franklin with the football, picks up 2.
Christopher Franklin. He picks up a couple.
Cedric Allen again on the stop for Blount.
I tell you, it is a
2nd down.
warm night. That sun went down just in time here at Jubilee Stadium.
You know, the wind is a really good breeze blowing. We were down the field about 5:30. That has dissipated. It is gone.
It was a hot breeze, though. It was all coming off the Gulf of Mexico.
2nd and 10. Quinley looks, wants to float it down the near side. Batiste and threw it over his head and out of bounds. Batiste had the coverage he wanted going against the linebacker there.
Yeah, 1-on-1 against Allen. He had the coverage he wanted, and he just threw it over the wrong shoulder. Did not give his receiver a chance.
I'll bring up 3rd and 9 here for the Trojans. Coach Glenn Vickery, 101 and 37 here at Daphne. Dan mentioned the 2010 state championship. 64 and 9 all-time in region play. 12th year he's lost 9 region games.
Amazing.
Fired over the middle. Brandon Purdue able to hold on to this one at the 20. He turns on the speed, and we are a point away from being tied.
Man, that kid is something else. Great throw by Quinley, and a nice catch after a near drop by Brandon Purdue. He was outstanding a week ago, and here comes Purdue again, who did not practice much of the week, if at all, Jim, after getting injured in the Saraland game.
49 yards from Quinley to Purdue. Brandon Purdue, our player of the week. We'll hear more from him at halftime, and he's on the board for the Trojans here, and they strike quick, and now Varela will try to tie the game. Coming right into your living room, and Varela does indeed tied 7-7, 8:48 to go here in the opening quarter. Quinley, the senior quarterback, able to find the senior receiver, Purdue. And we're tied at 7 on the Green and Phillips game of the week here on UTV 44. After the touchdown, fair catch at the 22. And we'll see Blount come out here. Hey, I just do want to mention Dan and I by ourselves here tonight. Our thoughts with Vic Lockett and his family. Lost his sister last week and unable to be with us. So, Vic, our brother, we're thinking about you tonight, my friend.
Absolutely. Always missed when he can't be here. Great guy, and he just brings us so much knowledge from the playing field from his days at Alabama and Shaw High School, of course.
Yeah. And our buddy.
Yeah, our good friend.
Yeah, so we're thinking about you, Vic. 8:47, we'll see Tony come back out here with the Leopard offense. Tony on the keeper, has some room on the right side and dives forward once he has the first down across the 35.
Yeah. What he told me in the hallways at Blount, I said, now are you more of an athlete? You're a quarterback? What are you? And he looked at me and said, I'm a quarterback who's an athlete. Dum-dum. I'm like, all right, and there you go.
Up to the 39 for the Leopards. Give is to Brown. He sneaks through right up the middle, and he's got another first down into Trojan territory.
Well, I'm thinking of Terrell Owens. You might want to break out your popcorn for this one. It looks like it's going to be showtime. These two offenses are looking pretty sporty here in the first quarter of play here in Daphne.
I like the pace you see out of this Blount offense early on here. Good tempo. Antonio Wright in the slot at the top of the screen. Keep your eye on him. Shepard to the bottom. Tony looks, has some time, now scrambles out to his right. Fires it on the run. He's able to get that one off to Shepard, and Chris Shepard has got it at the 30. He's got some speed, looking to get a block on the outside. Shepard inside the 20, down inside the 10, near the 5.
6 or 7 yard line.
It was the escapability by Tony that, set the play up. And then the great catch by Shepard. Watch this. Got some pure athletes on the field here, Jim. Look how smooth Tony is, too. Nice. Look at the catch. It's high school, y'all.
McBride was given chase, and then Shepard, the big senior, little high step in there trying to make some room, picks up 40 on the play, and it's 1st and goal from the 6. Tony rifles it, deflected, and incomplete. Is able to get a hand on that was Johnny Milton, the senior safety.
Well, you always want to be careful with those slants, right? Down deep, get it tipped, or you get a little bit behind. You want to throw it down and low and, away, where only your guy can get it.
He's trying to go right back to Shepard.
2nd and go.
Lorenzo Martin now checks in the backfield in behind Tony. 3 wide receivers to the right. Now some confusion. This one nearly picked off. Wow. And it would have been Johnny Milton going the other way. Blount wasn't sure. They didn't seem like they had their alignment right on the near side of the field. And then that one, a little confusion between Martin and Tony in the backfield too. Watch.
Yeah, they're right. I mean, the first thing is he almost gets tackled by his running back. That's a problem. So that game that play had no shot from the start. And now you find yourself all the way down at the 5, and you know better than you were when you started with the drive.
Blount is in the Papa John's delivery zone. Use promo code RIVALS to get 2 large pizzas, 2 toppings for only $7.77 each. 3rd and goal from the 6. Tony gives it off to Martin. Martin plunges ahead, and he's in for the touchdown. Lorenzo Martin, his 2nd score of the season.
Yeah, I should say they were no better than they were after the big play of the drive, and now they just say, you know what, the heck with it. Let's just hand it off. Helmet on, helmet up front, block, see what happens.
Big offensive line in front of you, opening up some holes.
Yeah, we've seen some big offensive lines that are not productive offensive lines, but this one looks like they can block.
Blount, 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns.
Explosive.
Amaya on for the point after to try to make it 14-7. Wright will hold. And Blount has a 14-7 lead.
7:40 remaining.
4 possessions in this game. We've seen 3 touchdowns so far. It's 14-7 Leopards on the Green and Phillips Injury Lawyers Game of the Week. Jim Cox and Dan Brennan, Jared Kihos down in the truck, Ashley Pope on the sidelines, and we are here in Daphne tonight. And Blount with a quick 14-7 lead. We've seen 3 touchdowns in the first 4 minutes and 20 seconds of this game.
Yeah. Nobody wants to drive the Bay. There's Lev Holly, by the way. Really have enjoyed getting to know him. Nobody wants to drive the Bayway on a Friday afternoon, going from Pritchard to Daphne.
How about on Labor Day, Friday afternoon?
Yeah, But this trip may have been worth it for this team. They look like they came ready to go.
Not even the Bayway traffic could slow the Leopards down.
No,
it
not so
like
far.
Early on.
Right.
Amaya to kick. Franklin now back deep. This one goes out of bounds.
36.
Lev Holly was an assistant under Jeff Kelly at, well, he was at Viger for a while. He was with Jeff Kelly up in Jackson.
Yep.
He's from Jackson. But he knew that at one point he wanted to be a head guy, and he took the head job at Escambia County. Put that on his resume. Now, here you go.
Here's our starting lineups. Take a look for Daphne, Judy, Yates, Barr, Cook, and Morrow up front. Receivers, Johnson, Henderson, and Brandlin Purdue. Keep an eye on him. Miller, the blocking back. McCullum in the backfield along with Quinley. Batiste in there a bunch tonight as well. Our starting lineup is brought to you by Greer's.
What a gamer Purdue is, right?
Oh, it was so much fun to watch last year.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can keep those cramps away that we saw last week against Saraland. Quinley looks to this side, and it's incomplete. Fired it off. Now a flag comes in. There was some contact there as they were trying to go to Khalil Johnson, the sophomore.
Over the back.
It's press coverage. I mean, it was tight right at the line of scrimmage. I noticed that.
Blount, man, you know.
All night.
Yeah.
All night.
Justin Brown, the cornerback, I think, is who tried to come through the receiver for the ball. And
yep. I haven't marked it off yet.
No flag down, 2nd and 10.
Picked it up?
Nope.
Pass interference.
Okay, here we go.
Defense. 15-yard penalty.
All right.
First down.
Moves it to the 49 of the Leopards.
Pass interference against Blount. Put the ball to Blount, 49, 1st and 10 dash.
Quinley wanted to go there right away and kind of had to hesitate a little bit. And then, as you said, Justin Brown was there very tight on Khalil Johnson. Batiste goes in motion. McCullum up the middle to the 46.
It's very useful in between the tackles.
Scott made the stop for Blount.
Here's the Blount defense brought to you by Greer's. Madison, Flott, and Dungy. Scott. Keep your eye on number 11. Cortland Martin, just a freshman.
A freshman middle linebacker.
And also number 18, Zajon Poe. In the secondary, Dees, Williams, Brown, and Massey. 2nd and 7. They give it to Batiste. Trying to come all the way to the wide side of the field, and that's a tough sell against this Blount defense. Tough to go vertical or horizontal against him. And they'll lose 3 on that play. Poe over there to make the stop. He was in pursuit along with a couple other Leopards.
Yeah, that was quarterback was the running threat. Newman back out of the game now.
Quinley now on 3rd and 10. Goes on a hard count, and that's Dungy jumping offside. That'll make 3rd and 5. A little more manageable here.
Good ball. Encroachment. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Remember what I was talking about before the game, right? Get the idea that Blount is the sort of team this year. If Blount doesn't hurt Blount, Blount's going to be really good.
Right.
So twice they've jumped off sides and given Daphne 5 yards. Again, this is the more running threat quarterback right here in Newman.
Jackson Newman, 6'1", 225. Got a nice email from his dad this week. Enjoyed watching the broadcast last week. Play at Foley, and he can sling it. Breaks a tackle here, and he tries to push ahead. Pushes the pile for a couple, and it's going to bring up 4th down. That's really a good arm as well. Not just a running quarterback, can really throw the ball. And David Morris, student there as well.
Yeah. It's like trying to tackle a tundra. Big boy.
And it will force Daphne to punt.
Massey goes deep.
Terrence Massey back at his own 10. Varela. High kick. And Massey goes away from it, takes a big Daphne bounce, and is down inside the 5. And let's go down to Ashley for another orthopedic group sideline report.
Well, guys, we're still in the first quarter. It's only, you know, Blount is up by 7. But look at this Daphne fans. I mean, they are packed out, but it's looking like they are just getting beat by about 3 touchdowns. So just the atmosphere has definitely come from a high to a low right now.
Everybody pretty pumped as the game starts, but I'll tell you what, when you're at home and you're used to winning football games, it'll get to you as a fan. Suddenly you look up and you're like, wow, that was quick.
Yep.
And Blount scored in 2 plays. Is that right, Jim?
Yeah, that first drive was just 2 plays.
Let's see what they do here. Completely different circumstances, field position, right?
Yeah, chance for Daphne to flip the field.
Yep.
And Tony gives it off to Brown. Joshua Brown out to about the 11-yard line.
Now, if you're Blount, you don't want it to flip the field too dramatically, like a turnover, right?
Picks up 7, actually, on the play, and it'll be second down in about 5. We'll call it second down 3 coming up to the official mark. We'll take a heat timeout. It's the Green and Phillips Injury Lawyers Game of the Week on UTV 44. Just halfway through the first quarter, 14-7, Blount with the lead. 2nd and 3 from their own 12. Kadarius Toney. And impressive to start this game for the Leopards. Gives it off to Brown, trying to get to the outside. Looks to turn the corner. Steps out at the 11-yard line.
No better than they were, so 3rd and 3. Little stretch play. They want him to stick his foot in the ground and move it upfield, but there was nowhere to go.
Here's the Blount offense. Lacey, Moore, Griggs, Hunt, and Robinson up front. Big offensive line for the Leopards. Antonio Wright, Woods, Todd and Shepard, the receivers. Lorenzo Martin in the backfield. And then Kadarius Toney, the junior. Saw him play last year on this Blount team and looks so poised out there early on tonight. Our first chance to look at him in 2015.
Yeah, he looks like he owns it, man.
3rd and 3. Wants to keep it. Goes on the left side, and with those big long strides, then lowers the shoulder out near the 20, and he has the first down.
Beautiful athlete. And you know, I think you hit it early on. He just seems so cool within his own skin that this is not too big for him.
Here's the Daphne defense brought to you by Greer's. D'Angelo Young had a great game last week. Dan highlighted him to start the show. Cam Davis, Chick, he was on the pregame show with us tonight. McBride and Locke, Ellis, Cushman, and Mason are the linebackers. Kidd, Milton, Bowers, who had the interception last week, and Tyrek Richardson, the shutdown corner, out there as well, and they give up the middle. And this is Brown, and he's up near the 30-yard line, and that's going to be good for another Blount first down.
How about the job that Griggs and Moore and Hunt right in the middle of that offensive line, and Lev Holly had an idea that maybe we can establish the run between the guards and get something going here. And so far tonight, they've been able to run it right off the center's shoulders.
At 10 yards on the pickup, so at the 30, the Leopards with a new set of downs.
Now you give them a chance to get a little more creative with the field position.
Martin up the middle, and he's got a big hole. Lorenzo Martin into Daphne territory. 20-yard pickup for Martin.
Notice the stretch play, Jim, when they took it, trying to move it to the outside off the tackle, they had some trouble when they're going straight up the gut. Great blocking and really creating some holes.
Lorenzo Martin, 56 yards and a touchdown last week in the win against Williamson. Picks up 20 here. Tony looking to pass, has some time, rolls out to the right, just floats it to the near side, and it's incomplete as he was trying to come to Shepard. Boy, just a flick of the wrist and puts that one out there. You can reach us all night here tonight. Send us your questions at heyguys@utv44.com. We'll do our best to answer them throughout the course of the evening, or send us a text if you got our numbers here in the booth. Let us know you're watching the game. Always love to hear from people all over Mobile, Baldwin County, even northern part of the viewing area checks in with us. I mean, so many people watching these games on Friday nights.
Niceville, Florida checks in from time to time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 2nd and 10. They fake to Martin. Tony pressured again, holds onto it, and Wright can't do the same. 3rd and 10 coming up.
I tell you, those two are tight because when they came out in the pre-game way early, they played catch, Tony and Wright, the whole time, up and down the field. This time, Wright can't quite go get it. It's a little behind him.
Antonio Wright caught it 4 times last week, ran it 5 times, had 100 yards of total offense. And now 3rd and 10 for the Leopards.
He's never going to be the biggest guy on the field, but we've watched him make plays now for a number of years.
Massey will line up to the bottom of the screen. Shepard in the slot. Motion is right. Tony looks to set it up over the middle. That one's picked off. Mason comes up with the interception. And the Trojans force the turnover. As Jerry and Mason had a fumble recovery last week. Comes up with the interception, and then we get a flag at the tail end of this play as well. Not sure where.
Looking for Wright. He overthrew Wright again, Jim, and Daphne had all kinds of pressure in his face. The lineman had released. It was looked like some sort of a screen.
And Mason with his second forced turnover. Let's get the call.
Against the defense. 15-yard penalty for first down.
Well, talk about flipping the field.
That'll be a personal foul against the Leopards. That'll be a 15-yard.
That's after the interception. Something went wrong, and when the Leopards hurt the Leopards, nothing good happens for them.
Yeah, and Coach Lev Holly said, you know, the first thing, my first order of business here is discipline with this team.
Yep.
And they don't show it on that one, and down to the 31-yard line. Now Daphne with great field position looking to tie this one up. Quinley gives it off to McMullen.
One of them.
Gets it to the 30. Got a score update. Theodore was thinking about Trey McMillan in the Baker game. Just got a score in my ear. Theodore leads 10-0 in that one. Brian and Foley tonight. You see the scores from last night. Davidson and Spanish Fort. That's a good tussle tonight right up the road.
Yep.
Fairhope McGill as well. Mary G. and Murphy and Gulf Shores and Baldwin County doing battle tonight. 2nd and 9. Quinley rolls out to the right. Still looking downfield. Pressure for the backside. He's going to lose a couple.
Boy, great discipline on the outside there by Blount.
Rest of the games tonight. Citronelle and LaFleur Saraland hosting Robertsdale, BC Rain and St. Paul's. Playoff matchup from last year. Bigler and Escambia County. UMS Wright ranked number 1 in 4A. Takes on Faith Academy, Clark County, and WS Neal, Monroe County, and Thomasville. Bayside on the road tonight up at TR Miller. Cottage Hill and Geneva. Milry and Excel. Hillcrest Evergreen taking on the home of the Aaron family. Op tonight. Choctaw County and Leroy. You see the rest of the games rounding out our schedule on 3rd and 13 for the Trojans.
Trips to the bottom of the screen.
Quinley with lots of time. Looks, fires, has man wide open, tried to come to Dre Graves and underthrew him, and he would have had a first down at the 15.
You know, both quarterbacks have missed on guys wide open when they've left the pocket. The really, really great quarterbacks, you know, make these throws almost look routine.
Yep.
You know, and they're not routine. But that was a case of the guy, Quinley moving to his left.
And now, after attempting a 50-yard field goal this week, this one would have been from 51. And the Trojans will go for it on 4th and 13. And from the 34-yard line, play clock.
Does he punt it?
Down to 5. Quinley does that. Tries to pooch it down deep. We'll see. And it takes a bounce, and it goes into the end zone for a touchback.
A valiant effort by Quinley.
Yeah, got the bounce there that he wanted, almost downed inside the 5, and so Daphne nets just 14 yards on the punt. But the Leopards defense comes up with a stand.
Right. More importantly, they don't net much on the possible drive to tie the game, given a golden opportunity after that turnover with the penalty on top.
Yeah, got it to the 30 and punted that one. Line of scrimmage at the 34. You can follow us on Facebook all year long. Just check out the UTV 44 High School Football Game of the Week page, or you can follow us on Instagram, UTV44_GOTW. .244 left here in the opening quarter. Leopards with the lead and the ball. Martin doesn't take the handoff, and Tony keeps it. He wants to cut it up the field and does to the 30 to about the 33-yard line.
One thing I like about Tony right there, he sensed, I'm not going to get the corner. Quick cut, gets what he can, and look what he does. He moves the stick. Watch right here again. Swallows his pride. Yeah, okay, you got me. Cuts back in. Elusive enough athlete to make a nice play out of that.
D'Angelo Young makes the stop, but not before a 13-yard pickup for the junior quarterback.
Yeah, and I think Tony's going to be an important part in this game, in the run game for Blount tonight.
Martin right up the middle. Lorenzo Martin will pick up 9. Might have even gotten the first down depending on the spot. Indeed, he did pick up 10. First down, Lorenzo Martin.
Trojans are having trouble running the football. Leopards are not.
Right.
And, you know, anytime you see somebody doing a better job on the line of scrimmage, that usually foretells a lot in a football game.
At the 43. Tony fires it to the far side, able to get that one off to Shepard. Shepard slips a tackle, and he's got another first down all the way inside the 40.
You know, you run the ball, you now give yourself options to open up the playbook a little bit more, but that's a simple outside screen right there. It doesn't look like it's going to be much, but Shepard's got the big, strong body. It's a big kid. Watch him make people miss right there. Poor attempt at a tackle right there. And we saw Shepard earlier in the day. You're going to have to really bring him down. He's not going down on his own.
Richardson and Cushman there to finally bring him down, but the Leopards now at the Trojan 40 as we're inside 2 minutes to go in the opening quarter. This time penetration by the Trojans. Cushman, the first one in there.
Yeah, the linebacker just said the heck with all this.
Yeah, I've heard enough.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and get on the other side of the line of scrimmage and snuff it out early. Daphne's going to have to make some adjustments right in the middle of the line of scrimmage.
This is Trajan Pugh with his first carry tonight. Loss of 4.
Nice play by Cushman.
Just a sophomore linebacker. Tony steps up to the middle and now rolls to the right side. Still wants to throw. Instead, he'll pull it down, and he'll wisely just get as much as he can, and then steps out of bounds with Jerry and Mason there in pursuit.
Shifted gears 2 or 3 times there, trying to measure just exactly what he was going to be able to get without getting whacked.
And eyes downfield the whole time.
Yep. Once he crossed the line of scrimmage, he was just kind of measuring how far he could go and stay out of harm's way. Nice play by a very heady quarterback. Game seems to come to him, right?
Yeah. Picked up 8 on the play, so it'll bring up 3rd and 6 after being in the 2nd and long. Pugh in the backfield. Tony, pressure, fires over the middle, and Wright can't hold on to that one. Antonio Wright right in the middle of traffic, and Daphne's defense stiffens there, and now almost a similar situation. 4th and 6 from the 36 here, as we saw Daphne just have with a quick punt.
That's how best friend. Ooh,
Cushman,
wow.
A good lick there on Tony.
Yeah. This is how best friends, though, become at odds, is when you drop a couple of passes.
Leopards will send in the punt team.
I think this is the right thing here, Jim. I mean, they got the 7-point lead on the road.
Yep, Kyle Cass will punt. Tyrick Richardson at the 10.
Tyrick Richardson going deep for the Trojans back at the 10.
Here's a ball player right there.
From the 50. Cass with an end-over-end kick. And Richardson grabs it at the 5 dangerously. Breaks one tackle and then gets hit from behind out to the 15-yard line.
He just wants to play ball.
Wants to compete.
Yeah, he does want to compete.
That's what he told us.
38 Duncan made the stop.
And more folks bringing us high school football. Sheriff's Office of Mobile and Baldwin County, the Drug Education Council. Also Alpha, Pepsi.
First and 10 Daphne to 14.
Spanish Fort up 14-7 over Davidson. 7 minutes left in the second quarter. Give to McCullum, bangs ahead, and McCullum will pick up 8 for the Trojans as we're inside a minute to go here in the first.
That's a defensive backfield invasion right there. Like, I'm coming in. And he's very capable of that. Powerful running back. Daphne's got to show a little spark here, Jim.
Yeah.
They a little flat coming out. They've had one big play with Purdue.
Yep.
Besides that,
but we haven't seen him touch it much since then either.
No.
Not in the lineup at the moment. The give inside, nothing doing. As McCullum gets to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. And that'll probably bring the quarter to a close, and it will. Game of the week. This is what we choose each and every week. Brought to you by our friends Green and Phillips Injury Lawyers. Here on UTV 44, Blount on top 14-7. Trojans with the ball to start quarter number 2. There's Coach Glenn Vickery of the Daphne Trojans. His team trails 14-7. They've got a third and less than a yard coming up here to keep this
third down and 1
drive going, and they'll put Brandolin Purdue right at quarterback. I think they're able to get Blount to jump again. And we see Purdue in there. We're not seeing him on the field offensively as much as we're used to.
Good ball. Encroachment. Defense. It's 5-yard penalty.
First down.
It's the third time that Blount's given him a first down, by the way, by jumping.
Yep.
28.
Lingering penalties, lingering injuries from last week for Purdue.
Yeah.
He's got to be healthy for this offense to go. And not a team in the state that wouldn't miss him coming out of their lineup offensively.
No, I mean, he really is the difference maker.
Quinley gives it off. McCullum fights his way out to the 30, maybe got a yard on the play.
One thing I've noticed so far, and we were kind of tipped off to this by several sources inside their program and out, is that this Blount team will compete. They will fight you. They're not just going to give you anything. They cross the bay, taking on, you know, a historic power, Daphne, but they're not backing up at all.
Gain of a yard for the Trojans on first down, 2nd and 9. Quinley with pressure coming, fires, tipped up in the air, picked off. Ball came to the near side, and slipping down after he made the pick was Justin Brown. And a turnover for each team, and now Blount with great field position after the pick.
Yeah, another tip pass that turns into an interception for Blount. Now they've got the short field and an offense that can really do something with that.
Goes off the hands of Khalil Johnson, the sophomore.
Lev Holly likes what he sees right now.
And Blount at the 31-yard line.
What do they do with the gift now, right? What do they do at the 31-yard line? And how do they orchestrate this offense to get it in there and create a little separation between themselves and Daphne?
Tony has time, floats it, looking to the near corner, and it's over. Thrown for Antonio Wright.
Boy, he had 3 guys on fly routes.
Yeah, I thought he was coming to the corner, to the pylon to the near side.
Yeah, he had 2 guys on the left going, everybody going, rocketing right toward the goal line. He was going to find out who he liked the most, and mostly, or closer to the middle of the field, was his buddy Wright. Overtossed him.
Yeah, takes a shot on first down after the touchdown, trying to get the touch, after the turnover. Yeah.
2nd down and 10.
Caples with his first carry, and
nice.
He'll get maybe a yard, but great penetration.
Yeah.
Again by Daphne.
Yeah, good job there by Daphne. You had a feeling that they were going to go back to the bread and butter and just try to get it between the guards and see what happens. And that time McBride beats the block, makes the play.
Now 3rd and 10. Coming for the Leopards.
See if Tony gets out of the pocket and makes something happen here. He's good at that.
Caples in the backfield with him. Blitz coming. Tony rolls out, has some time, unloads, middle of the field, and caught on the seat of his pants by Antonio right at the 1.
Wow. That makes up for the drops, right?
How about Tony over on the right side, all kinds of pressure. Fires it straight down the middle of the field.
He's dangerous when he gets out of the pocket. Watch, he beats. They've got a spy here, though, right here. He's got to get rid of it. And right there, a little bit,
right there, W-R-I-G-H-T
right there.
And
the referee was kind of in our vision. Nobody was in his vision.
Blount moves into the Papa John's delivery zone. Use promo code RIVALS to get 2 large, 2 topping pizzas for only $7.77 each. From the 2, Tony on the keeper, and he's in on the right side, untouched for the touchdown. After the interception, Blount able to capitalize, and they lead now 20-7 with a PAT coming.
Attention, Saraland. Attention, Spanish Fort. Blount looks good.
Blount has come out here early in this one, and they take advantage of the turnover after the interception. And Amaya on for the point after.
Amaya in the punt.
We're going to talk about how big that is, Jim, after the break. Amaya and those extra points.
21-7. The Leopards lead it on the Green and Phillips Injury Lawyers UTV 44 Game of the Week. Leopards are happy, leading 21-7. Jim Cox and Dan Brennan, Ashley Pope on the sideline. Jared Quijas in the booth. And now Daphne's got to find a way to answer offensively, but more importantly, they got to find a way to slow down this Leopard offense.
Purdue at the 10.
Brandon Purdue at the 10. He can change the game in a hurry. He's out to the 27-yard line.
Alvarado Maya, having that place kicker, Jim, so important for a team like Blount, who in years past, as you take a look at the Aaron scoring summary, go ahead.
Yeah, 4 plays, 31 yards, less than a minute, and Tony with a 2-yard carry. You're right, we've seen them lose games. We've seen regions decided by missed extra points throughout the course of the season.
I mean, they've been plagued by it forever.
Yep.
And now you got a guy that's going to finish it. 6 becomes 7, 27 becomes 28.
Yep. Big
difference, right?
Remember, Bobby Parrish at Williamson said, we've got a new kicker at Williamson this year. His name's Gopher 2.
I remember that.
They did it every time. Handoff nowhere to go as penetration from Donadio Madison came in and wrapped up McCullum.
Who's winning the lines of scrimmage?
Wow, both sides of the ball. It's the team in white, the Blount Leopards. Madison, a junior, made a stop on the first play of the game and comes in untouched there. Rashad Yelding will come in to add a little help blocking in the backfield for the Trojans, and they lose 4 on first down there. Franklin in behind Quinley. Low snap. Quinley able to pick it up. Steps up, middle of the field, looking for Brandon Purdue, and it was just out of his reach. We said he's the guy, you get it to him, and he can get you the points in a hurry.
One-on-one, middle of the field. But again, a bad snap, right? Then
Threw
some
off
pressure.
the timing.
Yeah, pressure coming at him, and he's not able to complete the pass. They're a little bit on their heels right now.
3rd and 14.
We didn't know it was coach speak or not, but Glenn Vickery had nothing but great things to say about Blount.
Yep, talked to him this week, and he certainly was singing their praises. Pressure again on the screen, able to get it off.
Wow.
But nowhere to go. Is coming up to make the hit is the senior. Dominic Williams read that one beautifully, and Franklin didn't have a chance once he got on this one. Wow, just fought through 2 blocks to come there.
Too quick.
Yep, and just read it beautifully.
Anticipating, right. Well, if Ashley thought that the crowd was a little bit down at 14-7, you know this home crowd's not happy right now.
Barella to punt. Antonio Wright and Terrence Massey back around their own 40. Low snap. Well, they're a good punt. Massey takes it at the 43. Now Massey up across midfield in a hurry. Turns the corner. Massey still on his feet and up to the 36-yard line. And now a late flag comes in at the end of that play. That was after the play. We'll get that penalty in the second. Now let's send it down to Ashley on the sideline for the Faulkner State Community College Educator Spotlight.
I am with Tiffany Buchanan, who is the representative from Blount High School tonight. You are the academic advisor to the student athletes. And we saw you a little bit Wednesday night at our pregame show. You know how to keep these kids in order, but tell me a little bit how you do it with their academics versus on the field during their sports season.
Okay. Well, we strive at Blount High School with our athletic program to make sure our student athletes are lifelong learners. Also, we're concerned about making sure that our student athletes are aware of our NCAA requirements, where it relates to GPA and ACT, college acceptance, college admission, but he also worked toward making sure our students' soft skills to become better leaders in the communities and in their future. We work on that as well.
And something y'all do strive in is your Signature Academy.
Yes, yes, yes. Our Signature Academy, we have the HCAP program, the Health Access and Careers program, through which that our students can get certified credentials where they can go straight to work. We know that every student is not going to go to college, but we do know that some of our students are going to go to work. And so we want to make sure that we're doing everything for our student athletes to be college and career ready.
Well, that sounds like great preparation work, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Go Leopards!
I tell you, she is one of our favorites of the pregame shows we do on Wednesday. She gets the bullhorn, and she gets everybody lined up. She gets Brennan and I in the right place to start the broadcast. She's wonderful.
She's the best. She really is outstanding, and you can see the good work she does for these kids right there.
2nd and 10. Tony quickly gets it out to Wright. Antonio Wright looks for a block, cuts it back inside and into the outside. And he'll be forced out of bounds, but he's going to pick up about 6. Shiftiness from Wright here on this one, Dan.
Quick screen to Wright. He gets a block by the big-bodied wideout who's already made some plays, and that's Shepard. And then gets what he can. And they've got about 3 to go.
3rd and 3 for the Leopards. They lead it by 2 scores already. Tony on the rollout, keeps it himself, slips through a tackle of Cushman, and he dives forward. He's going to be very close. Cushman just had him with one big paw there.
Just great sense of himself as opposed to everybody else on the field. Right there, new to, here's my shot, I got it. And he's got enough faith in himself and enough athletic ability to make those moves, and he is a little bit short.
For 4th and about 1.5 feet. Trajan Pugh in the backfield, and the Leopards, I think, going to take a timeout here on 4th and less than a yard to talk this one over.
Maybe not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Timeout Blount.
As Coach Lev Howley talks things over with his crew, let's go back down to Ashley so we can find out about our Scholastic Athlete of the Week, brought to you by the Gulf Coast offices of Alexander Shinara.
We are with Blount once again. I have Jada Wright, Antonio Wright's mother. He is a little busy right now on the field, so we got Mom. How do you do it? After reading about your son, not only is he football, baseball, basketball, National Honor Society, how do you instill that kind of discipline on your son?
Just being strict and disciplined. I don't allow C's in my house. And you have to take away the cell phones, all the extra activities and everything. And you just have to stay on them and keep them active. So that's how I instill that.
I see one of his interests was spending time with his family.
Yeah.
So does he have brothers, sisters? What does he do? Because between being academic great and on the field great, where's the time come?
Well, I have my 2 grandkids at home, too, and he has 2 older sisters. So we all get together, play games, look at movies together, and my little grandkids, he's always outside playing football with them and everything.
Back to you really fast, Jim.
All right, thanks, Ashley. Congratulations, Antonio Wright. 4th and 1, and Charles Shepard is able to get the touchdown. What a gutsy call on 4th and less than a yard, Dan.
Really was, and they knew they were going to have this, right? I mean, it's a tight end drag from the other side of the field. You're thinking run. You're thinking if the direction's going in any way, it's going opposite way. All the movement going left. The tight end or wide receiver, wherever he was on the field, drags across. And now the extra point again. And look at this.
Amayo with the PAT, and it's 28-7 Blount. And in motion right there was the Scholastic Athlete of the Week.
Everything was going left.
Yep, and they come back to Shepherd. And let's go back down and finish up the interview with Mrs. Wright, who doesn't allow C's in the house. We love that. Yeah.
That is right. No C's. I have one more question to ask you. When my kids get old enough, can they come live with you? Because I like your rules.
I don't know if you want to live with me because I don't play. I don't play.
Well, on behalf of the offices, the Gulf Coast offices of Alexander Shannara, I want to award your son with this plaque and a $250 scholarship to put towards his academics. Thank you so much.
We could look at Antonio Wright. Let's talk about this. 3.5 GPA, Honor Society, top 10 candidate, football, basketball, baseball, track and field, National Honor Society, National Technical Honor Society, favorite subject, mathematics, and a mama that doesn't play.
Did we just witness a YouTube moment? That's what I'm wondering. That was fantastic.
You know what, Mrs. Wright, could we have you at our production meetings that take place at 5:30 before the broadcast start?
Both those young ladies representing Blount, we could use.
Wow. And how about the Leopards?
Yeah.
28-7.
That's the real story.
The artist Batiste is out across the 25 to the 27-yard line.
And watching what we've watched so far, you wonder what's going to, what is going to change the course of this game.
Right. We saw Daphne fall behind big in a game here last year, a couple of years ago, and then came back in that game. But, I mean, you could probably count the number of times on one hand, that Daphne's been down 21 points here at home.
In the first half.
In the first half of a football game.
Against anybody. Quinley's going to have to chuck it a lot here. But they've really had a hard time establishing anything on the line of scrimmage.
Quinley looks over the middle, and that one's overthrown. Incomplete. Was trying to come to Miles Henderson. Aaron's scoring summary. 4 plays, 27 yards, a minute 4. Shepherd with the 18-yard touchdown there on 4th and less than a yard.
Back to Antonio Wright. I remember when I would come home with a C. I remember getting a big hug.
And popcorn cake was brought out.
I remember being taken out to dinner. It's a big deal. And I mean a fine steakhouse.
Oh, scholars we weren't, Dan Brennan.
What were we?
2nd and 10. Quinley bounces out to his right, trying to get away from the pressure. Dungy knocks the ball up in the air. The ball's still loose. Leopards say they have it. No, but Quinley gets it back while Dungy with the pressure there. And that one went straight up in the air. Flott was in there as well.
Just worst case scenario. I mean, look, frankly, Saraland did not make this Daphne team look like this, right?
Right.
This Blount team is on a mission. They've got a lot of people that can play this game. And they are well coached. And they are just whipping people at the line of scrimmage. Quinley doesn't have a prayer.
And he's got nowhere to throw it either. Everybody covered.
3rd down and 20.
3rd and 20. They give it off to Batiste. He's trying to get to the edge. Allen is there. And then he'll be hit and ridden out of bounds. And another 3 and out for Daphne.
Those white shirts,
through the 3rd.
White shirts show up in a hurry, don't they?
Allen makes the tackle, and now 4th down coming up.
Something
the Trojans.
Something that none of you would probably know unless you're very close to the Blount program. There's a couple of prominent players not playing tonight.
Yes.
And they did whatever they did. And as it turned out, Lev Holly said, "You're not going to see the field tonight at all." He said, "I got to sleep at night. I'm going to coach the way I'm going to coach."
Varela, the high punt, fair catch right, calls for it back at the 40-yard line. And again, great field position for the Leopards here. Time for our trivia, brought to you by New Horizons Credit Union. Which local team won their 18th straight season opener last week, Dan Brennan and others?
Oh, come on.
Well, we got to the second half to
man. I mean,
18 straight.
What's local mean? Where's local?
Local.
Fruitdale local?
It's not. I'll tell you. It's. I'll narrow it down to Mobile or Baldwin County.
Okay.
How's that? Does that help?
That helps. Yeah,
that helps?
Of course that helps.
I'll even narrow it down to one of the 2 for you. I'm not going to tell you which one.
Mobile, I think is what you're saying.
One of the.
Okay.
One of the. So there we go. We'll have that for you coming up. And again, thanks to the folks at New Horizons credit. You didn't hate to also want to thank Gene Everett texting, sitting on, look at this picture, sitting at Fish River tonight, watching the game on UTV 44. A little natural beauty, a little high school football on the tube. Little Gene, big fan, always watching our games on Friday nights.
Yeah,
don't bother Gene during the Auburn game, though. I'm just saying he's one of those guys.
That's all right.
That just don't. I get it too, but I mean, don't even drive by. All right, want to thank Green and Phillips Injury Lawyers. Did you know that accident victims, what you should do? Call 911, get a police report, and seek medical attention. Victims on average get 3.5 times more in compensation than an attorney. Attorneys at Green and Phillips Injury Lawyers, they're local, they live here, right in our community, and there's no appointment needed to see them. And of course, there's never a charge to park at their offices there on Florida Street. Blount offense now trying to set up the screen, able to get it off and back to the line of scrimmage. That was a good job by Tony to hang in there with the pressure coming from Maurice McBride, and got it off to Trajan Pugh, got back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that's the sort of play that Daphne needs to go their way, right? They need Tony to make a mistake on a play like that, turn one around, run it back the other way, get the crowd back in it, get the team back in it. They're down 21 points.
2nd and 10 for the Leopards. Give it off to Joshua Brown, slips a tackle, and Brown at midfield. Now he busts one, and he's all the way inside of the Trojan 40.
Boy, all they've been doing all night is slipping tackles, too. They're blocking well at the point of attack, and then these guys get to the second level, and they're not easy to bring to the ground. This kid's had a great first half. For somebody we didn't know was going to be a prominent part of the game plan.
Yeah, I think we will going forward, and so will everybody else know that he's going to be to the 40.
Quite frankly, Daphne not having a good evening tackling. Running backs, wide receivers, not getting people to the ground.
We'll back off to Brown, and still on his feet. And he'll be hit for a loss on this one. Grant Weaver, the junior linebacker, in there to disrupt that one, and a loss of 4 for the Leopards.
Brian Mitchell made the stop.
A lot of messages coming in by text, by Facebook, with people really astounded by what they're seeing tonight. But we can tell you it's what you're seeing, and Blount may be that good.
2nd and 14. Tony single coverage looking for Shepard on the far side. No, it's not Shepard. It's complete for the touchdown. Able to get a Reginald Todd, the lanky wide receiver, and a 44-yard pass. Tony to Todd. And it's all Blount in Daphne tonight.
A lot of weapons. And when they think that, you know, they've got you on the line of scrimmage and they can run it, well, go ahead and take a shot. They do. Tony right on the money to Todd. Got a lot of guys who can play, and they are a very well-coached team. Obviously, a very dangerous team going forward. Look at the score.
And Amaya makes it 35-7. I think a lot of people thought Blount had a very good chance to win this game coming in. I don't think anybody thought it was going to be 35-7 with 4 minutes to go in the second quarter.
I think the one place they're feeling better about themselves tonight is Williamson, because they took the hammer last week, and it was like, well, Williamson's down, and, you know, so what? Well, here's so what. This is amazing.
Lev Holly was telling his kids all week, saying, embrace the moment. You're going up against one of the big 4 or 5 programs in all of Mobile and Baldwin County at any level. Go embrace the moment. Be ready for it. And you talked about Daphne and maybe not having that great a week of practice earlier, where Lev Holly came out and said, our Thursday practice, we were as focused as we could have been. We were on it, ready to go.
You know, we're seeing a lot of that evidenced in this game. One team was really into it from the start, and it was Lev Holly's team.
Got a score, McGill up 14-3 over Fairhope at the half. Franklin has trouble holding out of this one at the 16. Now trying to get away from some white jerseys, and he'll cross the 20, and that's about it. And coming up at the end of tonight's game, we will present to you 3 players to choose from for the Advanced Collision Player of the Game. Then you'll be able to go on local15tv.com to click on the high school game of the week and vote for the player of the game. Got a couple of candidates coming to mind early in this one.
They're all wearing white. I know that.
Now Daphne with 4 minutes to go. Got to get something here. It's not just trying to get out of the half. With 4 minutes to go, you've got to try to get a little something going.
Quinley's a great kid. He's in a tough spot because they're not blocking well enough for him to just sit back there and throw it.
They give it on the end around on the double handoff to Purdue, and Brandolin Purdue trying to get to the near sideline and does across the 40, and Purdue out to the 45-yard line, gain of 23.
Well, there's your MVP of this team right there, and when he can get the ball in his hands, he can make something little become big. That's what they need, big plays.
First and 10, Daphne.
Right on the shoulder of his quarterback. Gets a nice block from Quinley.
Quinley out there. I think Locke would have liked to see Quinley out there leading the way as a quarterback.
He would.
Quinley has time. Sidearms this one, nearly intercepted. Did he hold on? He did, as Dominic Williams comes up with the interception.
Quinley can't catch a break, can he? I mean, this Blount defense has got so many athletes that are where they need to be. He thinks he's got his guy. Watch him break containment a little bit. He's got to drift right. Watch him. He thinks, okay, I got him. No, you don't, because look at that. What a play by Williams. A great play by Williams.
Second interception tonight.
That's a great play to knock it down. That's an outstanding. That's an incredible play to catch it.
And Blount takes it back here. Just shy of midfield. Willis Wilcox and his family over in Mobile watching the game on UTV 44 tonight as Tony now wants to go up top again as he looks for Todd, and it's broken up. Trying to go back to Todd. He had the connection there with him last time, and Richardson, they're giving up a lot of size at 5'8" against the 6'4" Todd, but broke it up.
Yeah, and I think if you're Blount, you got to do this.
Yep.
You know, it's still the first half. You're playing Daphne. It's not like you can't have any pity on anybody.
Second down, 10.
You can't have pity on a team like Daphne. They've been too good too long.
Tony couldn't decide if he wanted to give it off to Martin or hold it himself. The good play was give it to Martin, who's got it to the 40 for the first.
But I think he made the right read right there. He didn't give it to him right away. Tony's not done too much wrong.
Close to a Blount first down.
These running backs have been outstanding, but
First and 10,
middle of the line of scrimmage, they've had room to go.
First down at the 41-yard line.
You have to go through pages of record books to try and figure out the last time Daphne was down 35-7 at Jubilee Stadium, let alone anywhere.
Flipped out to the far side. Antonio Wright on the right side screen inside the 20, right all the way inside the 10, down to the 7-yard line.
Honor Society.
And Antonio Wright, watch him read this one right here and just slips right up the middle and turns it on. And
you know, the Honor Society kids I remember couldn't do that.
And the Leopards are in the Papa John's delivery zone. Use promo code RIVALS. 2 large, 2 topping pizzas. I think I'd go with like maybe pepperoni and onion for $7.77 each.
Okay, I'll sit you in a room by yourself.
Give up the middle, and Trajan Pugh inside the 5.
So they get the interception. They're at midfield. They're up 35-7, and right away they're turning it into points again. Dual threat quarterback, so dangerous down here.
Tony gives this one off, and now we'll see a flag come in, and looks like this is maybe a hold. That's usually where that flag is from, as they gave it back off to Pugh. It is a hold. Have not seen a lot of penalties on the offensive side of the ball for Blount.
On the offense.
Nope, have not.
10-yard penalty. Still second down.
Some encroachment, you know, a little excitement on the line of scrimmage. We've seen that a couple of times defensively, but no, they've been pretty clean. And if you're Glenn Vickery, how do you give a halftime speech when you've never had to give this kind of halftime speech before, really?
Second and goal from the 14. Wright goes in motion to the right side. Tony looks wide open at the goal line, and he's got it to Shepard for the touchdown.
Yeah, he had Shepard right down the middle, and he actually had Antonio Wright angling in. So he had two guys that ended up in the same spot. Well, it wasn't right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was LeBaron Jones. LeBaron Jones going to give him a, come on, man, that was my touchdown.
Exactly. It was going to be somebody's.
And this is shocking. Maya to make it 42-7, and he remains perfect.
This score is getting the attention of a lot of folks in and around Mobile and Baldwin County, and I would think
across the state.
You got it.
It'll send shockwaves around, and we've got a half of football left. But it's been, I mean, the score is very indicative to the way the first half has gone.
Yeah, it's not been a fluke. It's not been crazy plays. It's been execution. It's been talent. It's been coaching. They're good.
More of our friends bringing to high school football, including the orthopedic group. Advanced Collision. Greer's, Cash Saver, and Food Tiger. All part of high school football here on the Green and Phillips Injury Lawyers Game of the Week on UTV 44.
It's only the little ones that are still dancing in the stands because they don't realize the magnitude of what's going on here tonight. The Daphne faithful really stunned by all this.
Yeah, Daphne on the verge of starting the season 0-2 in both region games. Amaya sends this one. Batiste at the 10. The artist Batiste to the 25-yard line.
That's where Daphne will take over first and 10.
Our game next week on UTV 44 will be our first trip to the Lip. Baker and McGill. Baker trailing Theodore last we heard. Aaron's 5 plays, 51 yards before the 22-yard touchdown reception by Shepard, his second of the night.
Shout out to Ricky, who's a vice president at Aaron's with a birthday today.
Oh.
And thank you to Aaron for being a big part of what we do here and also on 95 KSJ.
First and 10. Direct snap to Purdue, who had trouble holding on to it, but now he's able to sprint to the far side, and Brandolin Purdue is into Leopard territory inside the 30, the 20, and all the way down to the 12.
The drop snap became a misdirection.
First and 10.
63 yards. But he's the guy as electrifying as anybody on the field.
He is. Almost like when someone drops a punt and then suddenly they got the angle. Yeah, just snap it to him and see what happens. You could do worse.
Williams forced him out of bounds, and now the Trojans in the Papa John's delivery zone. Dan Brennan does not want to use the code Rivals to order onion pizza. What would you get in your 2 pizzas?
Look here.
Up the middle is Jackson Newman. Pepperoni.
Pepperoni's okay. Here's the big running quarterback.
Yep. Jackson Newman picked up 7. Pre-snap flag here. Let's see what the flag is. Looks like it's going to be, I guess, against Daphne pre-snap.
Dead ball, encroachment on the defense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Offside on the defense.
Well, the one thing that they've done right today is allow Brandolin Purdue to put his pads on and play. He was down much of the week. Where would they be without him? Of course, where are they with him? 42-7 Blount. And as they say, do not adjust your screen.
Jackson Newman. Newman wants to go up the middle, tries to lower the shoulder and lunges down near the goal line, but he's at the 1.
No fun tackling him.
6'1", 225.
He made the stop. Blount.
Again, just a junior, but again, don't fool you. I saw some YouTube clips of him. He can sling the ball down the field, not just a runner.
Another young Newman quarterback behind him, also a protege of David Morris.
First and goal from the 1.
That's something to watch sometime. I got a chance to watch one of David Morris's hour-long sessions with maybe 4 or 5, 6 young quarterbacks from the area.
Right.
The other Newman was there. There was a kid from Pensacola, young guy from Theodore, but you can see why David is able to do what he does and attract so many customers is because he's great at it.
Yeah, and I was a friend of mine whose son is young and dealing with him in more of a very informal get-together. Just wants, and he said it's not just what he teaches, but it's the way that David interacts with the kids.
Fabulous.
I mean, it really that's how the message is able to get carried through so well, is his demeanor and the way he deals with the young men.
He's got to deal with parents too, quite frankly. You know, so you've got to be a politician. But
quarterbacks' parents?
Yeah, right? But he does it beautifully, and then the kids really, really do benefit. This is not a commercial for the guy. We've got time to talk, right? It's 42-7. There's a timeout. I happen to watch one of those sessions, and they're great.
It'd be fun to have him come up in the booth just to watch a few plays.
Yeah.
We have some quarterback, have some highly recruited quarterbacks out there, and just say, hey, what are you looking at? What do you see? It'd be fun to have him join us one time.
He's really good on air, so I don't think it'd be good at all to have him up here. I don't see the need for that. We could just talk about him.
First and goal from the 1. Newman will stay at quarterback. Purdue in motion, and Newman drops the snap and then has to fall on it back to the 6-yard line.
Gracious, man.
And that was a good snap. That wasn't we've seen some bad snaps tonight. That one wasn't a snap issue, I don't think.
Don't think so. He's a quarterback that's already looking at what he's got to contend with, right? He's already trying to figure out, where am I going with this football?
And another timeout taken.
Newman's disappointed right there.
Hey, while we have a second, we lost a legend this week, Glenn Yancey, who longtime coach in the area, died on Wednesday. He was 91, went in the Mobile Hall of Fame in 2006. Of course, coached that great Viger team and really was a driving force to get Pritchard Stadium built. Scott Hunter had transferred over from Mississippi, and those were back in the days when you threw the football a couple of times a game.
Yeah.
And brought Scott in and saw Scott had an arm, and so suddenly they started throwing the ball around 20, 30 times a game.
Yeah, unheard of back then.
And they go undefeated. And then, so he coached at Viger, McGill, LaFleur, and Faith, and Davidson. And he also coached Richard Todd when Richard Todd was at Davidson. So
Scott Hunter and Richard Todd.
Yeah, so Glenn Yancey, died at 91, Hall of Famer, and just from all accounts, a peach of a guy. So,
well, a lot of the folks I know in the McGill program and in the McGill family speak so highly of Coach Yancey, just talk about him so fondly. And he actually gave McGill some of their better years than they'd had back in the 80s. He kind of made some magic happen.
So our thoughts with his family. First and goal from the 6. Purdue gives it off to McCullum, and McCullum nowhere to go.
Third down and goal.
Daphne has 1 timeout left, and they're going to burn it here with 3rd and goal coming up. Just first and goal from the 1, and then have the miscue, and now you're back to the 6.
Timeout.
Yeah, if you want to know how this game's gone so far for the Trojans, in a nutshell, there you go. This Blount team's just kind of taking it to them, though. The 42-7, again, I think you said it best, Jim. It's indicative of what the game has been.
Yep.
It's not been crazy fluke plays where, oh, my goodness, you never see that happen. No, you're seeing Blount execute, win the line of scrimmage.
Great quarterback play.
Not hurt themselves too much.
Tony has played really well at quarterback.
Yeah, Tony's fun to watch.
So
got a message on Facebook from somebody saying, what great quarterback presence by Tony in the pocket. And I'm thinking to myself, when was the last time we saw a kid that looked that comfortable back there?
Right. I remember watching him a little bit as a sophomore last year. You could see glimpses of the calmness that he could have back there in some situations. But now he's a junior on the road leading his team. And his squad is up big here. Now they bring Quinley back in. And now Blount wants to take a timeout. Blount. Something Dominic Williams did not like what he saw.
timeout, Leopards.
So he takes a timeout with still 30 seconds left, and Blount has one timeout as well. More friends bringing us high school football here. Aaron's, Faulkner State, Zaxby's, and third and goal here. 2 down territory for the Trojans.
Brandon Purdue's going to be in the slot at the top of the field, and he has been the offense tonight. We examine those stats at halftime. It'll be like their yards have been Purdue yards.
Yep. Quinley looks his way, holds it, now looks, fires it out of the back of the end zone, incomplete. And he'll bring up 4th down.
I guess Purdue was just out there as a decoy. He really didn't do much at all. Really didn't run a pattern. He was covered one-on-one. He didn't cause any kind of problem. Maybe he's hurt again.
Didn't practice much this week. He didn't sound like. It looked like it was just cramps last week, but maybe it was something more. You wouldn't think cramps would keep you out all week. 4th and 8. There's Purdue. See if they look his way. And now movement on the right side as Taylor Morrow moves, and 4th and goal from the 8 is going to be 4th and goal from the 13. They were 1st and goal at the 1, if I remember correctly.
Offense. It's 5-yard penalty. Down remains 4.
That's down. Back 4th and goal from the 13.
Again, Liv Holly sitting down. 2 of his really good players making a statement to his team, and they've responded.
Quinley steps up away from Dungy's pressure, back of the end zone. He's able to get it to Miles Henderson for the touchdown.
Nice job, Quinley. Nice job by Quinley, avoiding the pressure, stepping up. And the Trojans and their fans have got something to be happy about after a miserable first half.
And a little positiveness going right in at halftime here. Got right away from Dungy, and then a nice throw to put it up high for Miles Henderson to go up and grab it.
They'll get the ball first in the second half if you want to maybe slightly overthink things, but hey, this is an improvement right here.
Varela for the point after, and it's 42-14.
Remaining in the half. Blount 42, Daphne 14.
So Daphne able to get on the board again here late in the half. More of our friends bringing you high school football. Papa John's. Gulf Coast offices of Alexander Shannara. New Horizon Credit Union. Now we'll see scoring summary. 7 plays, 75 yards for the Trojans. Henderson with the touchdown reception.
I think that was a Fairhope game, if I've got that right, when they were way down for Daphne standards.
Yeah, sounds right.
2 or 3 touchdowns maybe, and won that game.
Came back, and
we've seen some amazing things on this field from this press box.
Todd Watson, the former Foley coach, still has nightmares.
Yeah.
Antonio Wright deep for Blount. Varela kicking off.
Varela with a high pooch kick to the near side. That ball's going to bounce, and it's luckily picked up by Shepard. And now Shepard up the near side. And a flag there. I don't know, did he wave fair catch? Did he try to wave a fair catch? It's kind of a, because they blew the whistle dead before the play was concluded. I wonder if did he maybe put his arm up trying to?
That's
the game.
Yeah.
On the receiving team.
Okay, there you go.
Yep, motion for the fair catch, but that ball hit the ground, and Daphne nearly had a chance to get on that one. And now with just 12 seconds left, Blount out of timeouts. I think maybe they'll just take a knee and be happy to get out of here with a 28-point lead at the half.
On the ball, 5-yard penalty.
A 28-point lead that Daphne has just cut into. Wow. You know, I'm like you. I think you're right on point when you said that people thought Blount could win this game tonight. I think we thought they could win it, could be competitive, and I think Glenn Vickery pretty much tipped us off what his feelings were, that this is a very good Blount team, but nobody would ever have imagined that score.
And Tony will take a knee, and we'll wait for Ashley to catch up with Coach Holly.
Blount 42, Daphne 14.
What a first half by the Blount Leopards. Lead 42-14, led 42-7. Never trailed in the first half. And let's go down to Ashley. She's got Coach Holly.
Coach Holly, did you believe going into halftime you'd be up against Daphne this high?
I told my kids early in the week, I felt like if we play our best and they play their best, I felt like we could take control of this game. And, you know, I give credit to them. They came out, they played hard, but right there, I think that was a big touchdown they just scored. You know, you're talking about a 5-touchdown game compared to a 4-touchdown game. So we just got to go in, man, and just finish it, you know. So I think the biggest thing we're going to focus on right now is us.
So that's what we can expect in the third quarter.
Yeah, you can expect that. I think it's going to be they're going to come out, they're going to fight. Coach Vicker and his staff does a great job. So we know they'll come out on fire. So we just got to come out and hopefully we can punch one in right here from the start.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach Holly excited at his team, the way they've played here in the first half. They have the lead at 42-14. Of course, at the end of tonight's game, we will have some players of the game to choose from. Last week, we had a player of the game in a losing effort, and it was Brandon Purdue. What a night, 189 yards receiving, Dan.
Yeah, he was spectacular, as he has been again tonight, really. A losing effort against a highly ranked Saraland team.
And what really hurt when he went out that last drive of the game, couldn't be in there for Daphne. And that really, I thought, was a big, really affected their play calling they could make down the stretch.
Yeah, there he catches one behind, and you're right. I mean, near the end of that game, if one team was going to win it in regulation, it looked like it was going to be Daphne, not Saraland. Purdue gets hurt as they're driving. He's making plays to get him down the field. He gets hurt. He's out of the game. The offense stalls. The kick is a mess because of a bad snap as they try to kick a long field goal. Saraland suddenly's got enough field position where they get it down in position and win the game.
Score with less than 30 seconds left and win the game. At the end of tonight's game, you'll be able to vote on the player of the game for this week. We'll give you 3 choices, and that'll come up at the end of tonight's game. That brought to you by Advanced Collision. It's halftime here in Daphne. It's the Green and Phillips Injury Lawyers Game of the Week here on UTV 44, and this one is all Blount Leopards. Injury Lawyers Game of the Week here on UTV 44. Blount up big 42-14. It's time for the Pepsi halftime show, and let's go down and check out the band.
halftime performance was brought.
It's halftime here at Jubilee Stadium, and the Blount Band has had plenty to play in celebratory tones tonight. And Pepsi halftime show continues on here from Daphne, Jim Cox, and Dan Brennan up in the booth. And this one has been all Blount. And, you know, we saw the Daphne team when we talked about the tough loss they had and talked about it with Glenn Vickery on the pregame show, Dan. And we said, you know, tough loss, but we said, we really liked your team, liked the way your team played, thought it was really great. And then Blount has just come in here and steamrolled the Trojans.
You wonder if it's a combination of this team not being into it, but it looks like it's more than that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like Blount is really good. I mean, Daphne and Saraland were pretty even, and actually you could say maybe total yards Daphne had more. And
Yep.
Dominated the first half in terms of yards and kind of gave the game away a little bit. Okay, so that's on the road at Saraland. They come home tonight. We had a feeling Blount might be good. This is what's so interesting, Jim, about early in the season. You don't know.
Right.
You're going on past reputations.
Yep.
Yeah, Blount, you know, they're going to be talented, but they're going to jump off sides. They're going to make a mistake. They're not going to be as precise as some of the other teams. They're precise. They've got a very talented quarterback. He's got a lot of weapons on the outside. Yep. They've been able to block the middle of the line of scrimmage and run it whenever they wanted to.
Yep.
So, you know, pretty convincing tonight in just one half that this Blount Leopard football team may be one of the best in our area.
Yeah, no doubt. We're already here looking at the schedule down the road saying, you know, we have a great flex scheduling, and you and I are just talking about, we want to see Blount again maybe in this game, this game. There's, without question, want to see how the Leopards continue to roll here. It's halftime in Daphne, 42-14 the score. It's been all Blount all game long. Impressive showing here across the bay for the Leopards. We'll come back to get you ready for the second half after this on the Pepsi halftime show of the Green and Phillips Injury Lawyers Game of the Week here on UTV 44. There you see the score from Daphne. Blount with a lead 42-14. We heard all about Antonio Wright, the Scholastic Athlete of the Week for Blount High School. Now let's get the Scholastic Athlete of the Week from Daphne, brought to you by the Gulf Coast offices of Alexander Shinara.
I am with Carter Dransfield, Daphne High School Scholastic Athlete of the Week. Carter, tell some of our viewers what has kept you on the straight path throughout high school and excelling.
Well, my parents have always pushed me to make good grades and to really work hard at school, and I take pride in my work and making the grades that I do.
If you could give one piece of advice to an incoming freshman, what would you tell them?
I would tell them just to get involved at school, have fun, but also stay disciplined and get your schoolwork done, keep good grades, and have fun.
Well, Carter, this is for you. This is from the law offices, the Gulf Coast offices of Alexander Shinara with this plaque, and also you will be receiving a $250 scholarship to use. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, well, Carter with great academic achievements here at Daphne High School. 4.3 GPA in cheerleading, 3-year varsity cheerleader. She's the cheer captain, Key Club, Red Cross Club. Also 2016 Legacy Model. She's going to go to Auburn University. So congratulations to Carter, and great job by her throughout her career here at Daphne High School in the classroom. And her team right now down 42-14 at the half. And we'll come back and get you ready for the second half coming up after this. At the break, Blount impressive in this one, 42-14. They have the lead. Said the score looks exactly like that first half has gone, Dan Brennan.
Yeah, it's not been a fluke. It's been everything we've been talking about since we... look, Blount scored 2 plays in to their first offensive drive. It took them 2 plays to take the lead on the road against the Daphne team that played really very well against number 3 ranked Saraland on the road last week. It's early in the season. The evaluation period is still going on. How good are these teams? The team making the big statement. Well, both teams are making a statement tonight, quite frankly.
I think the one thing about Blount that jumps off the screen at us is just the players they have all over the field.
Yeah.
I mean, up front on both sides of the ball, out wide, quarterback, DBs, linebackers, everywhere.
Loaded and playing well, playing with a purpose, playing with a plan. And his quarterback, I tell you, he's something special.
Yeah, Tony, this was Joshua Brown scoring on his first carry of the game. This was after the big 70-yard completion to open up things for the Leopards. And then Tony, with the big arm here, able to air it out. He's looking the far side as he, had Shepard earlier, finds Todd there after he threw it. And then this one,
take your pick, right?
Goes right back to Shepard again for another touchdown. And this was Daphne able to salvage a touchdown at the end of the half. And John Quinley, who had a tough first half, fired that one there to get it in for the touchdown to make it 42-14. And you see the total offense, 434 yards in the first half.
Brutal.
By the Leopards.
And defensively, they're not making Daphne very comfortable either. So, again, both sides of the ball, a dominating performance. It'll be interesting to talk to Glenn Vickery. What did you say to your team at halftime? Because it's a speech that he's probably never had to give before.
Yeah, you're right. And Blount gets the ball to start the second half. And see if they pick up right where they left off in the first half.
Jim, they've run it well, but they've also thrown it well.
283 yards through the air in the first half.
Lev Holly said, we need to stick it in right away. Go ahead and do that again and reestablish. That means the playbook is wide open.
Joshua Brown takes the handoff. Daphne with some penetration, but Brown forced it to the outside and he got knocked down. And Ashley had a chance to catch up with Coach Vickery coming out of the sidelines. What do you have to say, Ashley?
Coach Vickery said that they got punched in the mouth, and he meant that literally. And he said that he told his starters that it was time for them to rise up or that it's over.
So we'll find out here early on. 2nd and 11 after the 1-yard stop, 1-yard loss.
You fed him a big spoonful of reality right there, eh?
Motion, Antonio Wright. Give it up to middle on Brown, and he's trying to get to the left side, and now he's got a blocker in front of him, and it's Wright, and Brown tries to turn the corner and does. And Brown into Daphne territory, lost his helmet at the 39-yard line.
Howard Richardson makes the stop.
Again, they're winning not only at the line of scrimmage, second level. Al runs the middle linebacker right there, and off he goes.
You talked about Daphne not doing a great job of tackling, and a lot of times the offense has something to do with that, but I think the defensive coaches from Daphne are not going to enjoy watching this film on Monday.
That film room's going to feel like a prison to some of these kids.
25-yard pickup for Brown, and Leopards right back in Daphne territory, and this is Martin. Lorenzo Martin tripped up. He'll pick up 3.
Little cross buck. Now they're running it well, but again, I have a sense playbook's wide open.
Yeah, I agree. It's been.
Now you run it well so you can do whatever you want to do. And they're not going to shut this guy down too early. Oh, those wideouts.
And plus they need, valuable playing experience. It's week 2 of the season for these guys.
Yeah. They need more points.
Tony wants to keep it. Cushing there, and Cushing will drop him back for the loss. First time tonight we've seen him be able to get in there and drop Tony back for a loss. Tony.
Nice job. We've got 2 young linebackers in this game, a sophomore and Cushing. One's got a freshman starting in the middle for them.
And there's Cushing, 5'8". Lisman is just 160 pounds.
He looks a lot bigger than that.
3rd and 10. Tony drops back, slings it on the far side, able to get that one off and complete to Todd, and Todd breaks a tackle, and he's got a first down for the Leopards.
There you go. Lack of tackling, maybe effort. You can decide on that, but they're not tackling well.
Todd had 2 touchdowns last week, and just 1 in the first half here, and he's got the first down and moves things to the 20, about the 27-yard line. Tony on first down slings it over the middle and incomplete over through Antonio Wright. Got to go ahead.
He had him one-on-one. Yep. Middle of the field. Exactly what you would want.
There's a flag down over here on the near side, right in front of the Daphne sideline.
On the coverage for the Trojans, 2nd down and 10.
That's the terrific little athlete whose mama doesn't play. She told us that in the first half. Ashley said, maybe I'll let my kids grow up in your house. She said, I wouldn't do that. I don't play. That was
Jada Wright. Yep.
Fantastic.
And it's just a sideline warning against Daphne. Theodore leading Baker in the fourth quarter, 17-10. There's
another team that could fall to 0-2.
Yep. 2nd and 10 from the 27.
Lev Holly's a very self-assured, quiet man. Look at the way his team plays.
Tony wants to pull it down, and Maurice McBride with a handful of Tony jersey doesn't let him get past the line of scrimmage.
Nice job, McBride. He's made a couple of nice plays tonight.
I was going to say one of the few bright spots on that defensive line tonight for the Trojans.
Yeah, he's made some plays, but he's been on that same line of scrimmage that's been run on.
3rd down and 10.
You see, they're frustrated right now. They're just not used to this. They don't, even that loss to Saraland, number 3 ranked team, they're with him punch for punch.
Tony, pressure, and he's going to be hit and dropped all the way back in a flag.
Down back at the 43.
So Wesley Locke made the hit on him in the flag.
The stop for the Trojans.
It was right at the hit. Not sure if there was a hold there as well.
Wow.
Just a great hit.
Big hit. Yeah, I think it looks like a hold, Jim, because I didn't see a face mask there.
Listen in.
A personal foul. Face mask on the defense.
Wow.
It's a 15-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Did you see it?
I did not see it.
Not on the quarterback.
Back at the 28.
Let's take a look here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, wow. But you know what? The other angle was looking at Locke coming from this side, and it happened on the far side of the play. So
it was obvious for sure.
After the big loss, it brings it all the way back up to now 3rd and 10.
Bring in linebackers.
Tony gets it out to Antonio Wright, and Wright gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. 4th down coming up.
Good job, Daphne, there. Trying to keep this team out of the end zone.
Reese McBride on the stop.
Holly may be tempted to bring on his place kicker, who can
give him a chance in the game to kick a long field goal.
He likes having this rare luxury at Blount.
That's what they're going to do. And he was kicking him from about 45 in warm-ups, and that's what this one's going to be.
Yeah, he was, good with some and not so good with others, but Holly wants to see what he's got here in the middle of the game.
This will be from 45.
Way short.
Yeah,
way short.
Didn't get much on it at all.
We would see that, before the game. Someone would look like that, and someone would make it all the way through.
This ball was live. This ball was live.
Oh, wow.
And now we've got a bunch of players on the field as well, as Daphne's able to pick it up, and that's Tyrick Richardson. As the officials did not blow the whistle, and Richardson takes it to the 12. Everyone stood around and looked around. And the officials looked at one another at one point, and the ball was just live back there. Missed field goal. We've seen that happen in other games before.
How about Tyrick Richardson? Told us before the Saraland game he just loves to compete, and he says, hey, this play's not over.
I'm sure the Daphne bench was howling at him as it was lateraled back after it was picked up by Daniel Taylor, and Tyrick Richardson was all the way down the field.
And since the Blount team was heading to their sideline, he comes up the home sideline and got clear sailing a long way. What a play. What a strange play.
And seeing those mixed long field goals, I think Uncle Henry, who just emailed us in, might remember one of those as this one was fired out. We'll get to Uncle Henry's.
That might have been the worst time to reference Uncle Henry.
He just sent an email in.
Very low blow.
Uncle Henry sent an email in and said,
2nd down.
Hey, Jim, I knew you grew up near Chicago, not far from Madison, Wisconsin. Did you ever go to the University of Wisconsin? And I, matter of fact, did one of the beautiful campuses in all of America. To a couple of hockey games up there. And
have you been to many American campuses? Can you actually compare? What are you talking about?
Uncle Henry, for some reason, want to know if I've ever been to Wisconsin.
Got that part.
All right, as they bring in
beautiful campus.
Jackson, it really is on beautiful Lake Madison. The Badgers. So
May I present you? I'm just throwing it out there. UCLA.
I've been there as well. Okay. USC, I've been there on that campus.
Oh, sure.
3rd down and 5.
All right, let's see what Daphne can do here.
They got to get it in.
Yeah, they get it in here. We got a game.
Purdue trying to get to the right side. Now reverse and tries to come back the other way. He's all the way back to the 15. It'll be dropped all the way back at the 20 as Terrence Massey drops him all the way back to the 21.
They're a fantastic defense.
We saw Purdue score on this play last week.
Yep.
Saw him score on that play against Saraland, and then
Saraland doesn't have near this speed.
Tried to reverse the field, and now it's 4th down all the way back at the 20, and they have to get it to the 3. So Quinley will come back in at quarterback as Terrence Massey. Came up with a stop.
It was kind of a heads-up gift. They made the play, but it was kind of a gift. And if they're not able to take advantage of that.
4th down, Massey to the near side, gets it to Batiste to the 5, but he is going to be short.
Yep, a couple of yards
of the 1st down, and Blount will take over.
Wow. Nice design on the play. Gave your guy a chance to get it.
1st and 10 at the 5.
Leopard
right there.
Come up with the stop. So after the missed field goal that Daphne takes down deep into Blount territory. Daphne can't convert again, and now we're halfway through the 3rd, and we'll get a heat timeout here. And we'll take a break as well. Score same as it was at the half, 42-14. Daphne trailing Blount.
First and 10 at the 5.
Halfway through the 3rd quarter, Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, Ashley Pope on the sidelines, Jared Kihos in the truck, and the Blount Leopards take over, and right up the middle, Joshua Brown, and Brown up the near sidelines gets him out of harm's way to the 22.
You know, I was about to say what Daphne needs right here is maybe a quick turnover, something to, give him another 4 downs. And gaping hole for Brown. And he's good enough to take advantage of that.
And you talked about the playbook being open, and now as you get down inside halfway point in the 3rd quarter, now if you're thinking Blount Leopards, now they would love just to keep it on the ground, keep the clock going.
Yep. They're not in much of a hurry now, are they, Jim? In between snaps?
Yep.
They're taking their time, watching that clock.
Yep.
Wind down the play clock.
All the way down to 5. Give it off to Brown. He's hit in the backfield, but breaks the tackle. And then finally is wrapped up by Cameron Davis. And let's go down to get another Educator Spotlight brought to you by Faulkner State Community College. Here's Ashley.
I am now with Daphne's representative, Mr. Comer, and Christopher, who is in 9th grade. And I'm just going to let them take over because I'm not even going to begin to understand or try to tell y'all what this is all about.
Well, earlier this week, Christopher brought this robot to school and shared with us this creation that he put together. One of the neat things about the 21st century is there are a number of materials and kits and programs online for students who are interested in careers in computer science and robotics and engineering. And Christopher wanted to share that with us so that other students and their families could know about it, and so they might also seek those opportunities out.
And what exactly does this robot do?
This robot will solve a Rubik's Cube. I'll scramble it, and then it'll solve it. It'll scan it, and then solve it.
And how did you get this idea?
Well, I never knew how to solve Rubik's Cube, so I knew I was really good at Lego Technics. So I went online to see if I could find a way to do it, and I found this.
That is very impressive. And like I was telling your mom, I believe that computer science should be a foreign language because it takes very brilliant and special people to understand. Well, Congratulations, and your future looks very bright. Back to y'all.
Thank you. You could lock Brennan and I, you know, in a room for a month if we wouldn't solve the Rubik's Cube. Let's take a look here at Kadarius Toney. We talked about wanting to run the ball, or you could put it up to the near side and look for Reginald Todd again. Todd all the way inside the 30 down to the 24-yard line.
Wow, what an arm, what a weapon. You know, you and I were sharing stories about neither one of us being able to start our weed whackers. I mean,
Mary Shoemaker is my neighbor in Spanish Fort. She witnessed the hammer toss of the weed eater. I apologize, Mary, if you saw or heard any of that debacle on Tuesday morning. It was. I'm not proud of when a mechanical thing does not work the way it should.
We have no plan B, do we?
And then it was leaking gas on me, and then I threw it in the road. It was awful.
That's God speaking to you, my man. You need to calm down.
No, I need to buy a new weed eater.
That too.
So if anybody can, you know, help with some weed eating starting tips, I could probably use a course in that. Or if there's a robot that could do it for me.
There's a redheaded kid in the band might be able to help you out. He lives right here in Daphne.
All right, now after the penalty and the big completion, now we're going to get another penalty here on the Leopards. The Leopards have moved into the Papa John's delivery zone. Text Rivals, your promo code, 2 toppings, 2 pizzas, $7.77 each.
Dead ball, legal procedure. On the offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Movement on the offensive line, 5-yard penalty, still first down, 1st and 15.
So now 1st and 15 as we get down to 4:10 left here in the 3rd quarter. Toney looks over the middle, able to get it. Antonio Wright for the touchdown.
Touchdown, Blount.
They're doing what they want to do and have for much of the game.
Threw that one on a rope. And Antonio Wright with a touchdown. And Kadarius Toney continues to have a huge night.
His numbers are going to be ridiculous.
Like video game numbers.
Yep. Starting to look like a video game.
As the Leopards will try to make it 49-14. And Amaya does that.
Kick is up, and it's good. 3:55 remaining in the 3rd quarter. 149, Daphne 14.
Here's the replay. Quick zip.
Yeah, quick zip and really nobody home.
Yep.
I mean, not a whole lot of resistance back there. Richardson was on the other receiver out there.
And Wright with a touchdown. And last week, this Blount team beat Williamson by the same score, 49-14.
Williamson is a down program, therefore not seeing the game or not really having any evidence beyond the score. We're thinking, okay, nice win for Blount, but an expected win, almost an expected margin, not a shocking margin. This tonight,
on the road in Daphne.
Yeah. The antenna are up in Saraland and Spanish Fort for sure.
Without question.
Amalia kick off at the 40.
And Amaya will kick again. The young kicker, lots of kickoff practice tonight.
Yeah.
With the 7th touchdown of the night.
He's going to get that part down.
For the Leopards. Franklin falls down at the 14. Made the catch and had his knee down. And
that's where Daphne will take over.
That's where Daphne will start. See if Daphne can try to get a little something positive going here. We got Robertsdale next week. Blount's got Citronelle. There's that last place, 95 yards. Just in 5 yards.
5 plays.
Yeah, in five plays go 95 yards. As simple as a robot solving the Rubik's Cube. 202. And Wright with a touchdown.
They want to devise something to beat Blount. They got to bring the little kid from the band into the huddle and say, what do you see?
Quinley comes back out. He'll look to throw. He wants to launch it down the field, looking for Miles Henderson, and he overthrew him by a yard.
Henderson's not wide open either on that. You know, they're being challenged pretty well by this Blount defense who, they'll go man up on you on the outside. but they've got the players and the speed. And they figure they can do that. That allows those guys up front to get after the quarterback.
Henderson will come out and Dre Graves will replace him, and Purdue is in. And now you start to wonder with Purdue out there, and he's been a little nicked up, and you're going to need him all season. How long do you leave him in the game? Is this one incomplete? They tried to go to Graves, and it was over his head.
But how scary would it be to put your reserves in a game like this against this team? I guess, you know, it's still third quarter, Jim. It's still a region game. It's not time to throw in any towels, is it?
Right.
A program with the sort of pride that Daphne's got and the sort of resume. And we were so impressed with him last week.
Oh, yeah.
Again, we're sorting it all out. Who's who this year? Getting an idea who Blount is.
Winley on 3rd and long. Pocket collapses, and he'll be sacked.
Back at the 13.
Pressure coming from the outside, and then it kind of
makes a stop. That's going to bring a 4th down.
Kind of just got wrapped up and nowhere to go. Adrian Law made the tackle.
Barella goes into punt. He'll be punting from around the goal line.
And Barella will punt.
Right goes deep.
Right. And Terrence Massey will stand back near midfield.
They're back near midfield.
Barella punted the ball well tonight. Massey takes it at the 49. There's a flag. This one's coming back. Massey still on his feet. Wow. Poor tackling Moore. And Massey goes in for the touchdown, but the flag is back at the 49. I think it's going to be a block in the back right after.
And I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Daphne Trojans down on the fleet field as Massey is just jogging back to the bench to celebrate what could have been a touchdown.
The flag came immediately after he caught it here. Oh, yeah, you can see it. Yep.
Yep. Didn't need it.
Did not help spring him at all.
And then just, you know, they're writing the book on poor tackling tonight. I mean, there's no way around what we're seeing. It's not what we normally see from a Daphne team.
Yeah, well, and you know, and it's just a situation that, like you talked about, these Daphne players have just not been in this situation before. I mean, it's just just doesn't happen. Hasn't happened. All right, so we asked you this trivia question earlier in the first half. New Horizons trivia question: what local team won their 18th straight season opener last week? Wasn't a home opener, just won their season opener.
Season opener.
18 in a row. They have opened the season 1-0, 18 years in a row now.
And they did it last week.
Which was week 1 in the season, correct.
Well, we had a week before that, though.
They didn't play. They played a jamboree. They might have played a jamboree against one of their teams on the field tonight.
Okay.
The Davidson Warriors have opened up the season 1-0, 18 straight years. Got the win over Mary G last week.
Riles.
Fred Riley. 18 years. Let's listen. So we had a dead ball foul as well.
So they marched it both ways, huh?
That was the block in the back, as we saw that one. But Blount came up positive yardage on that after the penalty.
Well, I guess good for them.
just struggling to sort that one out. Still throwing it, looking on the far side. Up and another touchdown. As it goes up and able to find Reginald Todd again. And Todd goes down after the cat. Oh, looks like a cramp. Looks like just a cramp.
Yeah.
44 yards.
Oh, goodness. Stay down, young man. But it does look like it is just a cramp. It's amazing that he was able to complete this play. Todd's able to run, and look at the ball skills, too. He just looks up right now and sees it. Boy, is it on the money. Whew.
He's fine there.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
I think it kind of just came on.
Yep.
And we're laughing because it is just a cramp, and he said, "Oh, I'm fine," and then he went to get up and was still going through it. But Reginald Todd having a huge night here tonight, and so are the Blount Leopards.
I mean, when you can just do that, drop back,
right,
throw it against one-on-one coverage on the money to a great athlete, to another great athlete.
Go up, let your 6'4" receiver go up and get it.
Yeah. Wow, let's see. He just now turns for the ball.
Yep. Tyrick Richardson.
Right there.
Nominated an all-state player last year.
Right.
And Amaya makes it 56-14.
2:27 left in the quarter. 156 to Daphne 14.
Well, the players are looking at each other on the Daphne sideline. The players are looking at the coaches.
Yep.
There's a lot of stuff going on here right now.
And you think there's some folks watching this one around 8 Mile tonight that are enjoying this broadcast?
Man, you can't blame them for saying, I don't think so, to the Bayway on a Friday afternoon. This one being on UTV 44.
16 of 26, 406 yards through the air.
We're in the third quarter, y'all, and he's playing against Daphne.
4 touchdowns. He's rushed for 1. 2 weeks in a row. He's thrown for 8 touchdowns and rushed for 2 in the first 2 weeks of the season.
Has anybody talked about him preseason? Nope.
A junior.
Franklin and Batiste go deep.
You can go ahead and put him up as someone you may want to consider voting for the game of the week.
That's the smile I saw when I talked to him in the hallway outside the weight room, asking him if he was more of an athlete, more of a quarterback, and he looked at me like I was a Martian and said,
Look at me, I'm both.
I am. I'm a quarterback who's an athlete.
You want to play ping pong? I'll beat you in ping pong right now.
We're apt to believe the young man now.
Amaya, whose leg may be getting tired, sends it back to Franklin. Franklin works to the 35 to about the 36-yard line.
Where Daphne will take over first and 10.
Theodore.
Cats, huh?
Theodore. 33-10 leading Baker at this point. And here it is 56-14 in favor of the Blount Leopards.
It's the arrival of Steve Savarese and everybody that's come along. I guess it's been Coach Vickery, really. Sav the Vickery, right?
Yep. This is Jackson Newman. Wow. Pays the price.
I don't think they've ever seen.
Now there's a flag at the end of that one.
They've ever seen anything like that here on this field with the Daphne Trojans. He's going to seek out the contact right here. This guy. Boom. Nice tackle, though, huh?
Where's the flag?
Personal foul against the defense. A 15-yard penalty for first down.
I don't know if I saw anything worth 15 yards, but
maybe just trying to make sure.
Yeah, the player that came in.
Maybe targeting
late, yeah.
With the head.
Right.
First and 10 Trojans.
That's the worst thing I saw on that play.
Trojans will pick up 15 after the penalty, and they'll keep Jackson Newman at quarterback. Newman floats this one, and it's tipped and intercepted.
Can you believe it?
Came up off the hands and picked off by Jakari Dees.
Look at that. I mean, Blount is at a different level of awareness.
Yep.
They're just so quick to the ball. A lot of these plays aren't just given to them. They're reacting athletically and with a lot of smarts. They're where they need to be.
This goes off the hands and into the hands of Jakari Dees.
Blount might have won twice this week, Jim, because they made themselves eligible to win some money at Eastern Shore Toyota by bringing busloads of fans and the band over for the pregame show.
You know, I'm thinking back as they'll hand it off Antonio Wright. Daphne, didn't they, like in 2005, I think, went to, maybe played Hoover in the state championship game and lost by a big, might have been like a 42-point margin. I'm just trying to think of a big loss for Daphne. Yeah. And
I think Hoover did beat them handily. I don't think it was like this, Jim. I don't think the score looked like this. I doubt the game looked like this. It was a Saturday afternoon, as I recall.
We'll dig that one up. So we still got a minute 15 to go here in the third.
That would be Rush, Probst, and Hoover.
Give Trezon Pugh. Oh, no, that'll be Lorenzo Martin.
Jack Cushman on the stop for the Trojans.
There's Antonio Wright, 6 receptions, 1 touchdown. Would have had 2, but he had slipped down at the 1 and caught that.
3rd down and 3.
Right on the 1-yard line.
And in a few years, he'll be able to do your taxes because he's an honor student that loves math. I bet he likes the math you see at the bottom of the screen.
And some of these numbers. Shepard with a couple more touchdowns tonight. 3rd and 3. Give on the inside and going nowhere. Good awareness there by the Trojans as Cortez Hale came on the blitz from the corner. That should get us through the third quarter with 4th down coming up to start the 4th quarter. All Blount 56-14 on the Green and Phillips injury lawyers game of the week.
Flip the clock. The ticket number is 6593.
Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, Jared Kihos in the truck, Ashley Pope wandering the sidelines here. 4th and 3. The Leopards will go for it. Tony looking far side, zips it over the middle, and it's incomplete. And Daphne will take over on downs. You know, going back, Dan, it was indeed 56-14. Hoover beat Daphne in the state championship game.
Yeah.
And that's those Hoover teams were something else.
Yeah,
wow.
They were loaded.
And that's in the state championship game.
Yeah.
I mean, so you're playing the best of the best there. But
and you had a great season.
Yes. Daphne will.
That was, let's see, 2005. That was probably Pat White was the quarterback. So you know Hoover was good.
Now Daphne will bring in Chance Newman. This is the sophomore at quarterback. Gives it off to McCullum. So we'll give Newman some game experience here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, very nice young guy. Saw him at David Morris's practice session.
Number 18, Poe on the stop. So number 11, Mason.
Spanish Fort right up the road here with a 35-14 lead over Davidson. Spanish Fort will go to 2-0, and there's Zajon Poe, who was on pregame show with us, and just a delightful young man.
Yeah, stole the show.
Jawan, correctly pronounced there by the play-by-play guy. Is this one complete?
Franklin.
Some of their scores. Saraland beats Robertsdale 45-7. Robertsdale and Daphne will meet up next week. Now 3rd and 7. Iger leads Escambia County 22-0. Are you going to leave the couch tomorrow, Dan Brennan, with start of college football? Watch college football, maybe head over toward Ladd to get a little late afternoon game going?
I'm definitely going to head to Ladd. Got a few appointments tomorrow.
Jackson looking at the near side, trying for Miles Henderson, and it's incomplete.
Miles Henderson goes incomplete.
UMS a 35-16 lead over Faith. You know, tomorrow I'll be doing two of the things I really, I'll be fishing tomorrow in a tournament, but very old school, listening to college football on the radio.
Nice.
While fishing out in the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, a fun way to spend a day.
That's a great day right there.
Oh. Go deep for the Leopards. Back near the 20.
So Varela We'll come on to punt. 14-3. McGill still leads Fairhope. That was a score at the half.
Timeout, Blount.
And Blount takes a timeout. I think Blount was going to have too many men maybe on the field there, and they take a timeout with 10.5 left.
But how do these teams proceed from here? Blount now, their opinion of themselves has got to be pretty strong, but they're going to have to keep on working hard. That's how they got here.
Yeah. And it's only week 2.
Yeah, week two. Long way to go.
Tell you about another one of our great folks up to bring high school football each and every Friday night. Coastal Clinical Research, the dedicated leader in the pharmaceutical research industry, currently enrolling over 15 different studies. All qualified participants will be provided with medical care, medications, and reimbursements at no charge. There is no monetary cost involved for research patients. Coastal Clinical Research. Thanks for being a part of high school football here on UTV 44.
I can read that for you next time. Everybody's got their strengths.
Barella with the punt. Blount.
Oh, boy.
Thought Antonio Wright was going to pick that one up. He wanted to. You know he wanted to.
Well, they're ready to keep going. I mean, you know,
this is fun. I mean, you think about the you were talking about the Daphne kids and saying, you know, how this is. But if you're Blount, I mean, this is one of the greatest Friday nights of your lives.
10:21 to go in the game. You're playing Daphne.
Yep.
This guy, you know, not cracking a smile. He's just coaching his team. I'm smiling. Lev is, you know, he's all business.
All right, another one of our sponsors, Alpha. Proudly serving customers since 1946. Home auto life insurance.
Down to 18, first and 10, Blount.
Call Alpha. We'll come back to our
senses. All right, anyway, you're going to go fishing tomorrow. That's good.
I've got to come back and tell you about our friends at Alpha so I can feel better and sleep tonight. Supposed to be professionals here. Alpha.
There they are.
Proudly serving customers since 1946. Auto, home, and life insurance. Call Alpha. Hometown agents. Outstanding service and quality discounts. For all your insurance needs, call Alpha. Outstanding service and outstanding prices. It's our friends at Alpha.
You're right about the wind. There is no wind now. There's not even a breath of anything going on out there. It's just hot. And I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see a little more cramping up like we did here
just
recently.
Now in the booth, like the cramps we just had in the booth here.
Right. Brain cramp.
Now, oof. Ball came loose, recovered by the Trojans as
was there a flag too, Jim?
Sean Simpson in at quarterback, and that one came loose, recovered by the Trojans.
Another, you know, the fumble only came after some more broken tackles.
Yep.
This is what they've done all night, too. Look at that. Look at the effort. Two broken tackles leads to a fumble.
Ramarius Caples in, and now Daphne, now they'll bring Jackson Newman back in at quarterback, and we'll see if we see him put it up. We haven't seen him attempt to pass yet.
Well, he threw one deep down the middle that was, oh, I'm sorry, Jackson Newman. You're right. This guy is not, yeah. The younger Newman did throw.
And he will look to pass. Dumps it out of the backfield, able to get this one off to Batiste.
Batiste on the reception.
And he knocked out of bounds about the 37-yard line.
Letting that clock roll. Yep. Anything close on the sidelines.
Pick up 3.
Next week,
down 7.
we are at the Lip Baker. They're coming off a tough loss. 2 tough losses to open the season. Lost to Murphy.
0-2.
Lost him. I wonder if Trey McMillan will be back for that one. Dislocated his elbow when they said, oh, he's day-to-day. Like, wow.
Did you see the run? Oh, look at Jackson.
Yep.
Speaking of run, look at this guy.
Right up the middle, Jackson to the 26. And that'll be good for a first down.
The run that McMillan made
First down.
where he hurt his arm. I saw the video, and it was a great run. It was one of the first plays of the game, I believe.
Yeah, and just went to put his arm. It just went to put his arm down to break the fall.
Right.
And it just landed wrong.
First and 10 at the 28.
But he is a tremendous player. He's just a junior, right?
He is, yes.
Right? Wow.
We were so impressed with him last year. Jackson to the right side.
Newman with the football inside the 20.
Jackson Newman down to the 17-yard line, and Daphne is in the Papa John's delivery zone. Use the promo code RIVALS to get 2 large, 2-topping pizzas for only $7.77 each.
Good deal.
Heck of a deal.
Second down and 1.
You know, giving you a hard time. I do order onions on my pizza too. I kind of felt guilty about that for 3 quarters now.
Ahead, Newman down to the 9. As we're inside 8 minutes to go here.
It's still so much time to go in this game. And if you're Blount, do you, I guess, just through substituting, you begin to slow yourself down a little bit.
First and goal, Daphne at the Blount 8.
You don't want to develop bad habits. You want to keep playing, right?
Yep.
This kid is strong.
6'1".
Look at the guns.
225. Pitch it off.
Good block.
Franklin trying to get to the corner and scoots backwards in for the touchdown.
Nice block on the edge. Big tackle, folded around and made the block. Got Franklin in.
Christopher Franklin with his first touchdown of the year. And he's in for the score, and Morello will come on for the PAT.
Morrow, good block on the play. They got him in there. Right tackle.
Morello's kick is up.
And it's good. And it's 56-21 with 7.5 left in this one. Daphne forces the turnover and able to punch it in.
Yeah,
there. How about
trying to review? Yes, Jim.
Yeah, just said, you know, the Jags opening things up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Gardner-Webb, and one of those games that you look on the schedule and say, hey, that's one you gotta have to open up the season.
Sure.
And it doesn't get any easier after.
No, I think you got to have that, because then you go to Nebraska.
Yeah.
You go to San Diego State. They're good.
Yep.
Then you've got your home, but against North Carolina State.
Right. Yep, comes down here.
It's pretty cool, though, having teams like that visit Mobile. Like Mississippi State last year, that at one point became #1 in the country for weeks.
Right.
Was in Mobile.
Yep.
As they were, you know, early in the season. NC State now. I mean, these are high, you know, bright light marquee teams that are coming right to Mobile.
That's it.
Who thought that was going to happen?
At this point in the program.
Yeah.
You know, this early on,
right.
Having the team show up here.
They've done everything at a more rapid pace than any other team that's gone to this division. And you got to think that they're going to be able to compete in the Sun Belt pretty well again this year.
Yep.
So exciting last year when we got a chance to go to the bowl game in Montgomery.
Yep.
That was, what a moment for Jag Nation.
See if they try the onside kick. They do to the near side, and Poe has the good hands to fall on that one to give it to Blount.
Yeah, they kind of saw it coming too. They were ready for it.
Number 18, Poe falls on the
And Blount will take back over.
It's so hard to dissect what we've seen. It's still going on. The game's still happening, obviously, but man, oh man, what? There's no way that Daphne comes in thinking Blount's not a threat, because they had to go 2 overtimes last year. So you know they respected them coming in.
Here's the Aaron scoring summary. 7 plays after the turnover, 40 yards, minute 59. Franklin didn't quite take it 40 yards, but he went in for the touchdown nonetheless. And give the law. He gets back to the line of scrimmage.
When everybody actually reads the stat line of this game, Jim, that's when it's going to become pretty obvious. Like, wow, that was not a close game at all.
Now you start looking down the road. Blount, Citronelle Gulf Shores, and then at MAC-T, at Robertsdale, and then October 9th at Spanish Fort.
Well, y'all in the path of a purple train, go ahead and strap it up. And Spanish Fort, we know they're really good this year.
The people saying this might Must be the best defense they've ever had at Spanish Fort, and they've had some great ones.
We watched one tonight.
So this is Antonio Mason in at quarterback. You know, interesting matchup, northern part of the state here tonight. Dan Brennan, Thompson playing Spain Park.
Oh, yeah.
So Thompson, former head coach Mark Freeman at Spanish Fort, going up against Bart Sessions, who's the defensive coordinator at Spain Park. And they matched some wits down here. We did that game, the California Dreamin' Bowl. Spanish Fort and McGill preseason game, but they played the first half kind of, it was preseason, but it was kind of like, all right, well, this does mean a little something. We're very prideful.
Yeah, defense, offensive minds going against each other right there that we're very familiar with. Freeman had a great run at Spanish Fort.
Now goes up to Thompson, and won last week to open up the season with a win up there. And you know, they were an 0-10 team. Him coming up there and really a guy who knows how to build a program.
5-yarder against the Leopards.
There'll be a lot of pride in parts of Pritchard and 8 Mile tonight and maybe much of this season.
You're right.
3rd down and 10.
Blount and Viger played in a jamboree to open the season. And then Blount opened it up last week with a 49-14 win over Williamson, and now about to go to 2-0, and Daphne about to fall to 0-2. Mason gets back to the original line of scrimmage, but not much more.
Quarterback Mason goes down at the 49, and that'll bring up 4th down, 4th and 9.
The Leopards will be in a 4th and 9 situation here.
I think maybe a couple of things have combined. Well, let's see if we're going to do it.
And we'll take our heat timeout.
Oh, they are going to do it. I thought maybe because of the combination of the score and so many of the backups in, they were just going to go ahead and roll on. But
5:16 to go on the Green and Phillips Injury Lawyers Game of the Week here on UTV 44. Blount up big. All Leopards in this one, 56-21, the lead over the Daphne Trojans. And Lev Howley, head coach of Blount there, and kind of coaching with a little bit of a heavy heart this week. He lost his grandmother this week, and the funeral was on Tuesday. And he was very emotional when talking about it Wednesday when we recorded the pregame show. But I know she was very proud of what he has accomplished early on in his coaching career, and family was all together this week. So getting thoughts with that. And has there been a coach who has come in that we have met, Dan, in all the years we've been doing this, that has made a bigger first impression on us maybe than Lev Howley?
Not as positive.
Yeah. Well, we won't talk about those, but
I can tell you he is, and I got a little heads up from some of the area coaches that know him. One of the first things he did when I sat down to talk to him was he was paying, because we've got to pay tribute to the coaches that came before us. They're teaching us. I reach out to them all the time. They've been there. They know more than me. And he talked about Steve Mask, and he talked about Jeff Kelly, and he talked about Ben Harris, Terry Curtis. He spoke about these coaches reverently, humbly, and sincerely. And right away I was like, what a fine guy. Also, another story about Lev Howley is he's got 3 sons still in Jackson. One of those, he was coaching there as an assistant after a couple of years as a head man at Escambia County. He got that on his resume, got back to coach his son at Jackson High School. He's got 2 younger than him. Point is, he's not able to watch his son play his junior and senior year, and he's probably one of the best safeties in the Southeast.
Kendarian Holly, big kid, 6'2", being recruited heavily.
6'2", 195, he's a junior. He's and a safety that can really move. So he's missing out on that. He told me his son said to him when this opportunity came up, and he said, "I'm thinking about it, son." He said, "Dad, you've got to do this. You can win at Blount. You've got to go do it." And that's quite a story.
How about that? Over 80 applicants
for the job.
At Blount. And
yeah, it's a job that people looked at and said, yeah, I can win some games there.
Jerome Woods, the principal, saw something right away in Lev Howley, and so did everybody else who's met this man.
Yeah, and I think also Jerome Woods, we've known for a while now.
Yep, sure.
And he knows, you know, he either played for Terry Curtis, maybe, was on one of his staffs way back in the day.
Could have been Murphy. Went to Murphy, right?
Yeah, he went to Murphy, and so he leaned on some of those guys. What is your opinion of Lev Holly? Everything kept coming back, you know, straight A's.
Right.
They were right. They were all right.
We asked him before the game as well if there was Lev. I mean, just an interesting name. If it was, you know, if there was a story behind it. And he said, oh, it came from my grandfather, and we were thinking maybe Leviathan or Leverett, something like that. And he was like, nope, Lev's Lev. That's it. That's it. And,
no story behind it, really.
Yeah, that was it.
The name that begs to find what the story is, there's no story.
And Varela, his punt will be down about the 47.
Here's his story. He's Italian, Morella. So I cleared that up.
Another one of our fine sponsors. They've been with us a long time. Millsaps and Associate. Yeah, they're on Azalea Road in Mobile, 519 Azalea Road, 344-0427. Insurance, all types of personal and recreational vehicles, commercially owned and operated vehicles. They'll insure those as well, as long as homes and businesses, and life and health insurance, and they'll even do bonds.
I thought you were back. I thought you were completely back.
Skill sets. You know, we all have different ones. That's what you were saying earlier, between tears rolling down the sides of your face.
Gonna have to get you in the film room.
One continues on with the substitutions here as Christopher McCants in there to make the carry and making the stop. Grant Weaver. We're down to 3 minutes left in this one.
You know, I guess one thing that Glenn Vickery has been around and is as good as anybody out there. I guess you have to say, look, guys, it was a bad game.
Yep.
But it was one game.
Right, right.
They're going to be working on some fundamentals starting very soon. Don't you think?
You know, you wonder, do you just throw this one away, not just be like, hey, this one's just totally gone, like just don't even.
Well, you don't want to dwell on just how horrific the performance was. You want to get better, right?
Yep.
But you can't mentally, emotionally. Looks like they were a little down after the tough loss to Saraland. Can't be dragging anything else along with you.
We are inside 2 minutes to go here on 3rd and 12. And that'll bring up 4th down as the Leopards will let the clock run all the way down before.
That'll bring up 4th down.
Might just run it here and not even punt.
4th down and 17.
It was impressive.
Early. And it was early, that first drive, 2 plays.
That put us on notice right there.
It's like, wow, here they come. Then Daphne comes back, ties it up.
It was Purdue.
Yep.
A big play to Purdue, who's, you know, kind of a different athlete for Daphne. But gee whiz, Blount's got, like you were saying, start looking over that lineup and watching the performance and reading the stats and who did what. A lot of people have done a lot of good things for them tonight, including winning that offensive and defensive line.
Blount gets the kickoff, and Daphne will just get away from it, and we're down to 49 seconds left in this one.
31, Daphne takes over 1st and 10.
And Daphne will, as we said, be at it next week. They got Robertsdale. There's Glenn Vickery.
Coaching up the young kids. They're the ones in there right now.
Daphne starts the season 0-2, but I mean, a tough two to draw to start the season, and now
we know how tough.
Sure, and they'll be able to right the ship a little bit here in the upcoming weeks. You would fully expect from this Daphne Trojan team. Jackson Newman in at quarterback, and Daphne takes a timeout.
I guess what I'm thinking, Jim, is if they were to line up and do it all over again, would it be a whole lot different? I don't know.
Yeah, I just think the players all over the field for the Blount Leopards, they're going to be tough to stop and slow down, and they didn't make mistakes.
No.
You know, jumping offside a few times defensively early in this one, but
turned out it didn't hurt him much.
No.
If Tony is careful enough with the football, and he's got that great sense in the pocket of when to do what and how to do it. He's shifty, he's strong. Man, he can throw it, and he's got weapons on the outside that can get open him one-on-one.
Right.
So they ran it great right between the tackles and really over the guards and center. You know, there's going to be film on them now, and people are really going to be able to focus in on, okay, here's what they do.
Sure.
Right? So they're going to have to contend with that, but it looks like they probably can contend with that.
Newman gives it off to Franklin. Franklin out to about the 41-yard line. Be good for a first down for the Daphne Trojans. They'll fall to 0-2. Blount 2-0 on the year, and Blount they weren't ranked coming in this week and received some votes. I would think you will see the Leopards ranked next week. Franklin out near midfield.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, you can rank them as high as you want. I wouldn't say that's out of bounds.
I would agree.
What have we just seen here tonight? Right?
I would agree. So we'll have some big 6A matchups coming down the road here.
And again, that guy sat down a couple of his best players
tonight.
Said no. They broke some team rules.
Yep.
And I think the players themselves might have even been surprised by the punishment. And he said, no, this is where we're going to do it. I'm going to do it right.
And that should wrap things up in this one as the Blount Leopards come to Daphne. They win by a score of 56-21. Impressive victory for the Leopards. Leopards cheerleaders trying to get through the line there, and Coach Vickery and Holly over exchange pleasantries, and Coach Holly had spoken so well about how much Coach Vickery meant to him and was mentoring him and wanted to learn from guys like that. And
how good a mentor is he going to be?
Wow, we talked about that in the pregame show. So this, you know, he wants to be mentored by some of the coaches that have been around, but just think what he's doing to these young men early on and the way he has just set the stage, the way he wants to do things at Blount. Let's go down to Ashley as she's got Coach Lev Holly.
Coach Holly, congratulations. Pretty much you were on top from the first quarter with those 2 plays to lead it to the touchdown. Tell me, game film, what is it? How'd you figure out Daphne?
Man, I give God all the praise, man. I tell my kids all the time, man, we living on 4 principles. That's faith, family, education, then football. And, man, I can't say enough about the team right here that I'm coaching and my assistant coaches. And don't let that score indicate what this team is, Daphne. I mean, they're a great program. Coach Vickery, himself, they do a great job. But, you know, when it's your time, it's your time. And we feel like it's our time right now.
I can tell you're a very gracious man, but considering this is your first year as a head coach here, what does it mean to your program, to you personally?
Man, I can't say enough about the fan base. I can't say enough about, you know, what it means to come into a program that's so rich in tradition and to carry it on, man. So I'm walking by faith, walking by sight, and just sticking with the plan. And I get told that day in and day out. And most people don't know, we set about 4 key starters tonight. So if that's the indication of where we're going, then, hey, sky's the limit for this group. But
Can you tell me why you set those starters?
We have some discipline issues. And like I told them, man, we're going to win with character, we're going to lose with character. Gotcha. You know, I'm not going to sell my soul out for no win. So, you know, we're going to do it the right way, man, and that's it.
Well, congratulations, and go celebrate.
Thank you.
We talked about it, that he said he's going to do it his way, and his way is the right way. And he said, I'm not going to take any shortcuts. And he said, hey, if it costs me a game somewhere, I'm fine with that.
Well, he was saying if it costs me a game tonight,
yep,
I'm fine with that. And you hear a lot of coach speak, you know. We hear a lot of coaches speak, and we're around them a lot, and we watch them, and we listen to them, and we're like anybody else. We're in judgment of them, right? Because we're saying, oh, how good is the team going to be? How good a coach is this guy? Seemed like a terrific guy. I think tonight we learned he's a terrific guy that can lead this program into places like who knows where.
Yeah, I mean, we've all seen, you know, and Blount, you know, gone to the playoffs 3 years in a row, and they're certainly trending that way again here this season. So, I mean, it's... I
mean, Coach Hurt had them going in the right direction.
No question. Here's our player of the game, our 3 nominees, Reginald Todd, Kadarius Toney, the quarterback, and Charles Shepard. And Toney with over 400 yards throwing the ball tonight, 5 more touchdowns, 4 in the air. A couple of touchdown receptions for Todd and Shepard.
He had over 400, and we weren't in the fourth quarter yet, just so you know.
Yeah, that's right. So big win here tonight for the Blount Leopards. They win by a score of 56-21. Next week, we're at the Lip as we head over to Mobile for a matchup between Baker and McGill-Tulane. So for Ashley Pope down on the sidelines, Jared Kehos in the truck, Dan Brennan in the booth, I'm Jim Cox saying good night from Daphne, where the Blount Leopards roll big here tonight at Jubilee Stadium.